Welcome guys, welcome. We're going to be going back to our run of Shadow Empire. Hi Bilko, how are you going? So looking forward to this, thank you. So I have been too actually. I thought I'd played it only a few days ago, but I actually, when I looked at the timing, it was about a week ago, so which is about the way, about the distance I want to play it. So I woke up thinking, I think I'll just play it anyway, because I actually thought, it's going to be a bit too close to the other one, but I thought, no, it's actually a good timing. So in we go, let's go and load our saved game. So we're, we've got last round. That was actually, at the very end, I just generated a planet, I think, just as an example. So we'll continue on. Hi, Jerry. How you going? Yeah, guys, if you got any questions about the game, anything at all, just please sing out. That's really, I really don't mind sort of deviating off from what we're doing and showing, because I think a lot of people that come new into the game actually don't realise just how broad the scope of the planets can be. As one example, it's just it's an incredible game, like just amazing game. Just with the way it's sort of where the planets can be just so different when you actually play them. So we're playing down through here. We've got this is, if I just press number 1 key, we get this is Deepcron, our capital city. We're playing on a desert world, and we're playing sort of where we are on this in the southern. Pretty much on the south pole of the planet, which is still, if we have a look at the temperature there, is still 6 degrees here. So it's coldish down where we are. So it goes from 6 to 11 to 16. These are 300 kilometres each, 19. By the time we start to get up into the actual plains, away from the sand dunes, we're starting to get to fairly high temperature. Back into here as well, so you can sort of see the temperature gauge down the bottom there. So where we are is actually coolish, but it's sort of certainly as we expand, it's going to be a bit larger, a bit bigger. Hi orangutans, how are you going? Okay, so Jerry is saying, what council do you usually go with, first or second? It really depends on what you get. To be honest, like in our situation here, we have to try to find water. We've got no water at all, and so we've got one water, that one there. I don't think we've got anywhere else. If I just go to back to the strategic map. So in this case, our needs are, when we look at stats, if we go to water, there's one that we've now found up there. So we found our second water. This is actually inside our territory. So so water is a problem for us in this instance, and so this is actually something where I need to get better energy as well. So the need for both energy and for finding water means that the Economic Council is the one to go with as our first one, because they do prospecting. So the Economic Council will do prospecting as well as do research for energy sort of type aspects as well. So we definitely need to be on top of both of those. So they're sort of like fairly important. We'll have a look at those in just a minute. So the first one for me in this run has definitely been getting the, what was I just call it before? The Economic Council was definitely number one. And I was sort of hoping that we'd end up with finding water a bit earlier than it being this far away from our cities. So this is a fair distance, this one up through this other side. If I just go and turn that one back off. So we've got water up there. It's still within 6 of Devonmount, which is a city that we just took over in the last run. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Anything within 6 will mean that there's no administration costs to actually running a resource up there. Now I don't need it urgently right now. I'm actually still making water. I'm making enough water out of my original one. It is a finite resource on the game, like in the world, so we have to be a little bit careful. But there's reserves of water in this hex is 79,000. The reserves of water in this one are 280,000. So there's a lot more water, a lot more ice under the surface there that we can sort of open up. So even though this is the temperature here is 56 degrees Celsius, which is very, very high. So it goes in from being quite cool down the bottom. Now there's also the season. It's early spring for us. Now it's early spring for the northern hemisphere, which means that it's early autumn. So it's going to get colder and colder down in the bottom here, and these will also then dissipate and go a bit colder as well. If we look again at the strategic map, we're just down in the bottom of, like, we're getting close to the equator up here already. But and we know that when we built when we set up the actual game, that there was actually somewhere along the equator, there's like a massive lake. And there's also, in the North Pole, there's actually a big lake as well. Now, the North Pole is going to be too far away. We're sort of just hopeful that we'll end up finding that lake close to where we are and not have to go everywhere else. So that brings up what the second council is. So water has been my major problem. My second council, just based on what I was looking at, if I had have had somebody that was, actually, I don't know if I go back to my councils, my first council was definitely my economic council. My second one was actually my military research council, just so I can start to get better equipment, because we are going to be at war. So I wanted to just upgrade essentially the equipment that we have, which then brings in the need to either bring in the model council next or something else. So if you're getting military research, you may want to bring the model council in fairly early, but we still haven't really found anything we want from the military council just yet. So the model council can wait, but what I do need to do is I need to find that water, that lake. If it's close by, I'm going to need to make plans to get access to it, just so we've got a permanent supply of water. So that's going to be very, very important. And on this particular planet, as I said at the very, very start, it's completely different. With the depending on what sort of planet you have. Some planets will be swamp planets, where you don't have to worry about water at all. Some will be planets where there's no oil at all. So then you have to make your own oil, which means food and water become more important, because that's how you make your oil. So it really depends on what you're actually aiming for. But in this case, the Military Research Council was number 2, just so we can start to find better equipment for our current forces. So my current forces are pretty good. And so I just wanted to sort of get those done. Then we'll need to get a military research council once we start to find tech that we want. But the next one that I did have to bring in, really my third council in this case, was because I want to start to see what's around me. And we've only just brought this one in, but the one I want to start to move spies into neighbouring provinces to see if I can locate that water source along the equator. And just see how far away it is, because if it's close, I'll be definitely wanting to make plans to go and get it. So that's where we are essentially in with those councils. So that's that question. So Jerry's saying, and what are the first buildings you go with? Bureaucratic or metal? Yeah. Well, again, I always look to see what have I got. So over through here, you can see that at the moment now we're building a lot of different things, and so we've got like my metal source. Now, this also is going to depend a lot on the planet that you end up with. When you generate your planet, if I go back to the help files, I never ever choose a planet with heavy elements lower than like definitely over 100%, but I try to get fairly high numbers in here with the heavy elements. This impacts how well you'll be able to then go and mine metal, and so how much metal you're going to be finding. So that's actually if that was in terms of buildings, if I had a low heavy elements aspect of when the world is created, that would then impact how much metal I have on the actual planet as well. And so yes, you may want to make sure that you're securing that. Also, just be aware that the private sector will also go and mine some of these things themselves, and I've let them do it because I've got a lot of what we needed. So that's actually just one thing. I mean, geology through here won't really tell you what that actually is, but that's sort of where things actually are. So yeah, there's nothing much else in that one through there. But in this case, I'm trying to get the bureaucratic points, because that's how you essentially win the game. Sorry, I'll just go back to information. And I kept on pressing WASD, and I pressed the S key, which is strategic moves, and I don't want to be doing strategic moves. That's using your truck supply to move units across the road. So I've just pressed the I key to go back down into inspection mode down through here. Which if you ever need to grab those, they're on this bottom rung through here. So I just went back to inspect. I was pressing S and getting hold of that one there, which I, of course, don't want to be doing. I'll just go back into here as well. So at DeepCron, if we have a look at the assets that we've got, and I'll just do it by hex because we're not really building too much on the outside of here. But you'll see that we've got, like, our basic stuff is in through here. There's still more metal over there. There's still more metal down through here as well. And then there's a group has actually built the an oil drilling area up through here. But this is a private sector. Now, it's sort of one of those things I'm thinking, oh, you know, like it's actually, I've got another one back over here that I found. There's a few of them around, so I don't think I'm going to need at this stage to take that off them. So I'm just going to leave that one where that is, but you can always just see what they're going to be building next if you go to the actual city itself and then go and click on the civilians. You'll see that next is they're going to be building a farming dome community. I'm happy with that, but that would have come up in there that they were going to be building this oil derrick to get oil for themselves. Now we get a cut of that, so we get a little bit of the oil coming in. But at this stage, I don't need to worry about what they're doing. So that's actually not really a concern, if that makes any sort of sense. So in terms of building, yes, if I am running short of metal, usually metal can be difficult. In this case, we haven't really had a big problem with metal, so I haven't really sort of worried about it. We'll just go back to the assets here for Recon. I don't know what I'm currently building. Yeah, construction has just been finished on an ammo factory, just so we can keep the ammunition up in reasonable amounts, because we're now starting to use it. So the ammo factory will start to supply me automatically with ammo. I love this building. So anyway, that's finally been built. But the ones that we've been going for, if I just go into, and this is why we've got big negatives coming through with the metals, ammunition is going down because we're using it, and that will take a couple of turns to catch up with itself. Industry points are just starting to move up now into the positives again. Now we sort of have probably just enough in industry. The big one we have to watch here is the energy. This has been tweaked fairly recently in the game, and so energy does require a bit of a bit of attention, essentially, just to sort of make sure it's going. In our case, we're now just putting up. In Recon, we had built ourselves some solar panels. So we're getting energy from there. Now the energy that's produced from the solar panels depends on where you are on the planet. Now we're getting 68 at the moment. We're heading in towards winter. That will diminish over time, I think. I think that's how that one works. But essentially, if we build them towards the equator, we should be getting more than 68. But I just need to get a little bit extra coming back through. Again, that has a big bearing. The thing that actually, I don't know if that is actually across the whole planet, or whether it's just or whether your latitude actually does actually dictate how much you actually get. If we have a look at again back into planetology, we'll then sort of see that solar irradiance is very high. And so these are watts per metre squared, like 1,900, which means that solar panels are very, very viable on this world. So we've got like high numbers. Again, if it's under 1,000, then it's going to be less. Your return will be much more diminished. But I'm not sure about the latitude. If we're down near the South Pole, so that's going to then impact when the direction does come through with the actual planet. But I'm not 100% sure about that one. Yeah. So anyway, so building. Yeah, definitely want to. I've already got the. I've got the bureaucratic office number 1. I started with most of these things: the truck station, industry 1, recycling 1, bureaucratic office number 1. We've then got we built the solar panels. We built the hospitals to try to get our civilization score up. So that was what was required at Recon. And so we've now been able to get to the next level of I think we've only just got there, actually. If we go back into the Recon, hang on, where is it? If we go back into construction, no, that's not going to tell me. Hang on, if I just go back to minor city, or this one over here, that's cultural. This one here. Yeah, so civilization score is 12, which should, I think that means that our civ score has now gone up. If we just go back into here again and just go back into the that's the overview. Where is it? Where's the first one? It's just overviews in here. So what we're trying to do is, we're now at civilization level 2. So, and that's actually important to us, because what that one does is, now what we need to do is the next building that we need, now that we've got to civilization level 2, and maybe I should explain how this one works as well. The game is complex, but it does sort of just thump along on its own. In this case, we needed to get to, and if you hover over there, you'll see civilization level is the square root of your average regular zone civilization levels and diminished with 1. And so the average that we actually have is, well, we've got 12 in through here. So if you can imagine that, and the reason we've got that is we've got like extra health points coming through because we built that hospital. And so these all push up the scores that we have through here. The quality of life score is 14. The civilization score is sort of trailing behind that a little bit. And then if we do a square root of that one, we're going, and the reason we're counting this one because the other city that we have is not part of our empire. So we can just look at this one through here. Once we get over 9 in our civilization score, and this is again taken from the quality of life aspects in through here as well, and how they're moving up and down. The quality of life, the civilization score reaching 9 points, then means that when this calculation kicks in, so it's the square root of 9 is 3 minus 1 is 2. So we're over 9. So we're at 2.46 now with our civilization level. The reason that that's important is that the next city, the next building that I really need to be getting in through here is going to be in the government buildings, and I can now go and get the bureaucratic officers number 2. And so what this one's going to then do is it's going to give me it's going to take 2 rounds. It's going to take 100. And I don't really have this stored at this point in time, so I might wait a turn before we start to do this one. But it's going to be 200 metal per turn and 100 industry per turn. Otherwise, it will just take a bit more time. That will give me 200 bureaucratic points, which will be really, really important. So I want to get that one done as soon as I possibly can. So that's actually my next goal. I then have a problem because I'm only getting 10 extra energy per turn, and this one's 40 energy per turn. So so this one's going to cost me more. Now I do actually have, if I go and click on these, the first one, it will replace the bureaucratic office number 1, which uses up 10 energy. So I need to have 30 energy left over. So I need to have an extra 30 energy, but I've only got 10 extra energy at the moment. And so we need to make more energy, essentially, when we do get this building. So that will be the next thing after that. So this government area for getting the bureaucratic points is critically important. And again, just to summarise why bureaucratic points are so important, all of your development, if we just go back into here, is done, and you won't find the word bureaucratic points mentioned very much in the game, like next BPs, for example. It doesn't say bureaucratic points. It's then got the BPs down through here. Again, these are all the bureaucratic points, and so the bureaucratic points that you get, and as you can see, it's the number 1 list in through this other side, where we've got like 254 bureaucratic points is what's coming through. Now we produced 193 BP, and for a small bureaucracy size, you received an extra 61 bonus. So the smaller you are, the more bonus you get with these anyway. But the more you can produce yourself, the better off you end up being. So. And so those points are then split between the way that I've got, like 24% is going to the Supreme Council, 28% going to the Economic Council, 28% going to the military, and 20% going to the Secret Service. So this is their bureaucratic points. Then they're allocated with the different areas that they then split up. So for them to do any of their development, they need bureaucratic points. And so the more they have, the more effective they can then be, and the better our development is, and then we can sort of start to move through the game. So bureaucratic points are ultimately, and I say ultimately because you're definitely going to have other things that are a higher priority in between getting the bureaucratic points, but bureaucratic points are ultimately your number 1 priority in the game. So that's actually, that's how I'm sort of spending a bit of time to explain why, like, specific buildings are not the way to approach the game. It's actually, what do I need to achieve is what you need to be thinking of when you're actually playing the game. So it's actually not. It's that's more to the point, really. Actually, what I might do is I might just move my head out of the way. Just bear with me. Oops, hang on, that's wrong. I locked it in. I'll just move it up into there, I think. That should be out of the way, I think. All right, so just keep on reading through the comments. Hi, Guy, how are you going? And Bilko saying, when is Republica out? I'm not sure, actually. I'm thinking it'll be some time away, I would imagine, but I've got no idea. Jerry say, I want to start with Bureaucratic just to start that research. Yeah, we've done some. I've done some in this, where we've got the... actually, I don't know if we built the... we may have started off with these bureaucratic offices in through here just to get a little bit... This is our kickstart, really, where we ended up getting 50 bureaucratic points from that one through there. But the next one is a big leap. So maybe we didn't have the bureaucratic office. That may have been the first building that I did build, actually, in this case. But it really depends on what the problems actually are. Jerry's saying, can you go a little into feats and bonuses overview? So I'm always having an issue reading that and how it applies. I'll do that when we actually get to see that, I think, when we're sort of doing combat and things. So I'll try to come, if I forget, just remind me again, but I won't I'll get started with the actual game. But that's actually something that, it's not something that I tend not to really worry about it all that much, to be honest. It does have a bearing. We certainly saw it in the attacks last week, like when we were playing the last time. We had to be very, very careful of our big tank because of the feats that were being used by the enemy. But we've sort of now wiped that enemy out, and we've been able to get through unscathed, essentially, with what was going on. Hi, Zerin, and Matthew Logan saying hi as well. So did you see us plan for this? Yes, we covered that, I think, last week, or it might have been a DasTactic or something. I certainly know I covered it as soon as it came, as soon as it was announced. Hi, Korosami, how you going? Guy Bellamy saying, can you go over the profile info tab under the management tab? I'm not sure how this screen works, and are the unlocks you obtain removed if you fall under the trigger points, say democracy? Yes, they do. They are removed. Okay, well, actually, there's two of you now asking for the same thing. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at. I'll deviate across, and then we'll go through the chat on Twitch and just go through that as well. So if we go into, this is the profiles, and when you start a game, you do start off selecting different profiles with your start, like, whether you're going to be autocratic, meritocracy, or democracy. I generally play democracy, like that's my favourite way to sort of play the game. But in this case, we chose autocracy because we thought that the planet was going to be just too aggressive. If you're playing with a lot of sentient aliens, meritocracy is a good one to go for. Anyway, they're the different major profiles that you then have. You've got sort of like the government types. You've then got your this is politics. You've then got the society. So in this one we chose government focus. With we could have gone enforcement, and we could have gone with commerce as the different ways that we sort of go through there. So these are different focuses for our civilizations, and then finally down through here, and you'll see that this one got green and red associated with it as well. And so these are this is the psychology of your people. So we've gone with heart, but we've also then got a red through here of fist, and we have mind in through this other side. Now, I forget the exact way this works, but when you bolster heart, it will generally come from mind. So it will mean that you're essentially drawing, there's like a finite number, and so you can see down through there here. There's 140 points in through there. What have we got through there? About 140 through there as well. This one is that one's 140. This one is even less, but it's sort of like it depends on the numbers that are sort of next to each other, how they then push each other up. So I think that by going and getting some away from this one, turning this one up to nearly 60 points in this case, is then putting pressure on this one, so it pushes it down. So there's like a cycle, but I can't remember the exact maths of that. I never really worry about it, to be honest. I just know that that's what's going to happen, and I just let things happen organically. And so this just is just a mechanic that Vic has got in the game to sort of mean that you don't end up with massive numbers in through here. So the higher this goes, if this is high, this will then be pushed down because of this one being high. If mind was then pushed up, it's not going to impact anything other than this profile here. So there is an impact, but only when you hit a certain level. And so you can see when I hover over them, there's all these different tooltips about what you actually go and get. The easiest way to see those tooltips is to, oh, by the way, this is militancy or militia. Actually, that's interesting. He's actually changed that to militia. That was something I asked him. My recommendation when the game was first coming out was to get rid of the word militancy, because that sounds like rebellion, whereas militia works quite well. So this is actually how much militia forces are being supported with your empire. I don't know when that changed, actually. So yeah, so it's still got a low value will decrease militancy levels in your zones as well as recruitment. Yeah, so it's yeah, because militancy for me, that's not what militancy means. It doesn't mean getting militia forces. Anyway, that's sort of where the general population will then sort of try to support you with other units. If we have a look at the in the management screen, which has got like a whole lot of different things, then we go to the profile tab, which is what the question was. Those points that we saw there, like the 40, 60, 40, if we have a look at these ones in through here. So if we have a look, democracy, different things will kick in at different times with depending on the points that you then allocate into those different areas. And remember that some of them will be, so if we're improving heart, we're going to be decreasing fist. And so, and you'll see there that there are certain green ones in through here as well. These are essentially what's active at this point in time. So these are active aspects of our government. And so I think it takes a bit of time. And I don't really look at this very much at all, but it does take a little bit of time for these to sort of then kick in. And so martial law, we've only just got to 60. Oh, hang on, here we go. So we've achieved these, and then at the moment there's a 1% chance per turn. Your nation does not have this regime feat. You have a 1% chance of return to gain it. Has been the highest profile in the group for 15 rounds, and so as we end up staying in that group, we can then sort of start to move through the different areas and through here. So and so then there's different bonuses, that we end up getting that one. We get a stratagem card called Call to Power 2. So the Seeds of Ambition amongst your soldiers and NCOs, or we've also got Recruiter Character that has special ops experience. So we can that's actually something we would like to be getting, really, to be honest, which wouldn't be too bad. We also then get little things. These are feats, the unit feats, bunker busters, and so in this case they'll impact the unit that they're assigned to in combat. So so we get these special things based on what we've got selected. So we've got this one, we've got the government one that we started with as well. I don't think there's a 6% chance here, because this has been the highest profile for 15 rounds. We've got a high chance, or higher chance, of getting this one every turn as well. And so these essentially sort of unlock over time. This one here is we end up with different cards available, but we also then end up with different medical teams available as well. Heart, we haven't got this one yet. This first one, National Pride. So your nation does not have this regime feat. You have a 20% chance each turn to gain it. This has been the highest profile in the group for 15 rounds, and so your soldiers are proud of your country. So because we've got so much in heart, we've got this one, but we did manage to get this one. So we sort of moved across and sort of skipped ahead in that sense. I'm not sure with these, we're not going to have a chance because it's not our major focus. So the major focus will then start to push up. So once we sort of get more of these, then that joint struggle will then start to kick in as well. So we've got like the military band. Once we start to go even further along, we can start to really try to push the profiles in a very particular way, really at the expense of the other two. So as the other two sort of start to really drop off, we can then start to get more powerful feats. In this case, we've got a firing squad. We end up with getting different, like Call to Power 3, for example, and then we get Burnt Earth. So it's in the army and militia to destroy and pillage as much as possible. So we end up with extremely, like as we go further and further along using these profiles, we get much more extreme versions of it. Now, I'm thinking that when Republica comes, it's going to be tying into this sort of system quite a lot, I would imagine. So there's a whole range of different things we end up having through here. So what's that, a banner, like a flag bearer there? So the troops it's embedded with ignore startup attack penalties, which is pretty powerful. So so we've got all these different things actually sort of being assigned to the way that things are sort of then working. So that's the profile system really ends up with just giving you bonuses, but I tend not to really focus about it too much. It's sort of like probably it's a level of the game that I just let happen. I just let that happen organically. All right, so okay, so then Kogan saying I win a game with one tank, a full game. When would you use autocracy? Well, I'm using it now. I'm using it now because the planet that we're on is going to be very, very aggressive. I'm assuming. So we're assuming highly aggressive factions, and so I'm using autocracy here to suppress them, rather than democracy. If I use democracy to try to suppress the group that's here on this particular world, I'll just go back to that one there. And we've got actually a group that we just took over. So this is one where this is, if we have a look at the actual Devon Mount itself and look at what they are, their culture is, actually, where is that? Here. These are warmongers. Is the subculture. These are like raiders with a warmonger subculture that we took over, and so these are going to be very hard for us to suppress and essentially to integrate them into our empire. It's going to take a long, long period of time. With autocracy, my approach to or the choices I will have to then sort of try to meet with this is brutal suppression, and that's going to be more effective on this very desolate, dangerous world than if it was something different. So if we were on a farming world, democracy, we could pay them off and sort of and pay off what's actually happening. But in this case, brutal suppression is probably going to be our most effective way. So that's actually why I've gone with autocracy. It doesn't have a major bearing in the way that you play the game, but it does give you different feats and so on and so forth. So there is actually a depth to it. So Jerry's saying, how do you set budget allocations between your organisations? That comes up all the time, actually, just where you actually end up having, you've got to then choose like sliders as to how much you're going to give. Initially, I'm going pretty high with my Supreme Council because it looks after all the basic cards, but fairly soon we're going to start to get more specialised cards coming in. We've got a whole lot of different decisions we have to make as well in this particular turn. So just going back across to... so Flopsy Doodle saying heavy elements, does that mean nuclear weapons? It can do in the sense that you can find nuclears. We haven't found any at all in where we are just yet, but eventually we will, somewhere in the world. But heavy elements, I don't know if it actually impacts it as well. Mammonith is saying, are you winning soon? Winning Sun? No, I'm not. I mean, we are winning, but not... because we've now taken over a second area, but it takes a long time to actually win the game. When we actually meet up with the enemy, we're playing on hard mode, which means that the mages on the world will actually be able to fight very effectively against us, so that's going to be fairly difficult. Sev did redeem a customer award. Can I get one of the generals named after me for glorious Russian band roulette? Yes, you can. I'll remember to do that. Sorry, Sev. I'll just do that now, actually. Just as long as I've got... The way I handle my leaders is if I've got some very, very good leaders in this particular group. So the commander of the 3rd Infantry is a level 3. The commander of the 1st Beacon Brigade is Prudence, who is a tier 4. So I'm not going to name those because they're going to be coming out. Oh, this one here is perfect. Ian Thallimate. The Cap 2s are the ones that I used for being in charge of brigades. So these are sort of like, so Ian Thallimate, I will just go and change your name. Actually, how do we do that? That's not it. I'll rename down the bottom there. There we are. So this is Sev 82. And last name. If I just get rid of that, I don't know if it'll accept it. I need to be between two. All right, it's going to be Sev 82. Will it accept that? Yes, it will. Sev 82 is the new commander of the 2nd Light Infantry Brigade. So that's now got in through there as well. So I've been extremely lucky with my leadership. I've got like a Cap 5, which is the highest, a few Cap 4s, like 3 of them, some Cap 3s as well, and I want these for higher level than just being in charge of brigades, but in this case Cap 2s will stay in charge of their brigade for the whole game. So hi Beacon, how you going? just reading up the top through there. So accidental aggro, saying, all right, finally caught a Shadow Empire stream. That's cool. Hi Hoffman and Tenru. Just so accidental aggro was just asking what DasDemption was. Well, this is exactly it. So Sev is actually, you can either be, like for example, Began has got is an actual infantry brigade. So you can have brigades, you can have individuals. In this case, Began has got his own brigade. If that brigade gets wiped out, then Began gets banned from the chat. If Sev's leader gets killed, then that's also banning. He gets banned for a time with what goes on there. All right, The Wolfman saying, "How's the game? A Nomad's still a nightmare to fight against. They can be. You've got to block their access. I think we may have some on this game. I would assume we've got mutants that we're fighting at the moment. So, or we're going to be fighting in this episode. So, Ark the Great is saying, I've only gotten into this game like 3 days ago. Going through the manual sure was an experience. I had a slight headache after. But the game is fun, even if a bit overwhelming. Later on a bigger map, you're one of the people that got me interested in the game in the first place. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, look, the manual, the interesting thing about the manual is the manual was built as the game was being developed. And so Vic, the developer, would introduce something that he would then do and then actually add it to the manual automatically. So some of the manual does feel a little bit like that. But the manual is good, like just to sort of, at least get a bit of a feel for it. It's a hard game to initially get into, but just if you play on easier planets, it certainly makes a job. So Sev is saying democracy is definitely strongest with the extra PP. I think people have got different favourites, so I try not to sort of pick and choose them. Again, if you're on a planet with sentient alien life, the meritocracy really pays dividends in terms of being able to sort of recruit them. Democracy on a more friendly world will sort of allow you to take over things much, much faster. Autocracy on this sort of world, I think, will actually end up working pretty well for us. So, sort of different the way it does work. They all do work fairly differently. So Valas is saying, such a cool game, to be honest. Yeah, it is really incredible. The new DLC seems like it will make the game even more challenging. I hope one day that they make it the AI have to use supply. The AI does have to use supply. Like it actually does. It has to, if you surround an AI unit, it will suffer. With the exception of sort of like the miners, not so much because they don't actually use it, but the actual mages, almost like this is sort of one of these misconceptions about the way the AI does things in the game. The AI cheats in certain ways to make it more aggressive, but overall the actual mechanics underneath it all are still the same. So it still has to play by the same rules. It just has some benefits, and it's all in the manual, like as to what those benefits actually are. But when you look at them, without them, the AI would never leave home. Like they would just basically always just be sitting around and hardly moving at all. But with the benefits they have, so I think what you may be meaning the logistics. Like the length of their logistics chains. That does. You are right. Actually, sorry. That is what you mean. In that case, they don't have to use the same logistics model that we use. But again, if you're managing your logistics fairly well, they still have to get the. I think they still have to get the logistics out there, but they don't have the erosion of the logistics. Is sort of the way it works within the game. It's complex. I try not to worry too much about what the AI is doing. To be honest, it's just I just work within what I thought I have to do within the game. So Sev saying early game I got cap 1s and 2s, usually leading later on to cap 3s if some happen to come available as they level up faster. I was very lucky at the start here with these cap 4s. I've got a cap 5 there. So I've been putting the high-level people into the bigger jobs. Like Prudence will be taken away from the 1st Began Infantry Brigade, probably this turn actually, maybe. And I think she'll be put in charge of the spy group. So we'll end up sort of doing a bit of a reshuffle when we start. So we'll go through that in just a minute. So Monolith saying if Zev turns into a rebel, he gets banned. He will indeed. Yes, he's a bit low, isn't he? Not as bad as Alec, but he's bad. So his natural relation point is still okay. It's still positive. Yeah, so if he becomes a rebel until we kill him, I guess. So Seb's saying, man, in this last game I got like one Cap 5 go the whole game, and you got Cap 5 and 3 Cap 4s. Yeah, no, it's very, very lucky. This is going to mean that the people that are managing things in this game will actually really do a good job ultimately. Not so much at the start, but later on, they're going to be incredibly powerful, which is going to be great. So Began saying, nice, we're the best brigade of badassery, yes. And this is more or less is saying, you really play all these games I like. What are your new discoveries these? Oh, I've got one coming up. I'm going to be recording it today. Called Strategos, which is currently out as a demo. And it's essentially if you combine Total War, like the mechanics of Total War with the intricacy of Field of Glory in the ancient times. It's just unbelievably good. Like it's a real time game. So I'll be recording that. I was thinking of doing that as a live stream, but I'm going to actually record it because it's only a demo, so I don't want to spend too much time playing that one. But it's very, very, very good. So have a look at it. It's one of the new Micro Prose games that are coming out, and I was when I started looking at it and playing it, it was like, wow, this is awesome. So I'm sort of ready to record now with that one. So we'll be recording that one sometime today, hopefully, and then putting it up onto YouTube. But that's that's an amazing game, amazing looking game. That's going to be, I think, one of my favourites. Just looking at what it's like. Face people are saying Alien seems so unbalanced at the start. I'm getting wrecked by some roaming squids. Yeah, look, I don't chase planets with aliens on them because even with life on them, it's like a bit of life, little bit of easy life is fine, but it does dominate your game, like depending on what you end up with, and so you've then got to then build your forces to counter what you then come up against, and so you then need to sort of start to think, will armored cars do a better job than infantry, or what do I need to actually use to overcome them, and so it becomes an exercise of trying to then match your forces to the alien forces that are wandering around. It's just really quite interesting. So so Hoffman's saying Total War with delayed order. Well, delayed order is it's interesting because if you're far enough away from from your main commander, this is in Strategos, you have to then send out a runner, and you've only got limited numbers of those. They have to send a runner with a horse to go and deliver the orders. And so they don't follow the orders until the horse arrives. Then the horse will then come back, and then you can use that runner again for another order for someone that's outside of your command radius. It's very, very cool. Like it's Total War mechanics, but with a lot more. I won't say intricacy, but with a lot more meaning into how they then operate. It's very, very cool. Like it's great. I love it much, much more than I do Total War, to be honest. Just in the way that the combat works. There's no campaign mode, and I don't know if there will ever be one, but I'm hoping there will be at some point, because that was the one thing that Field of Glory also really, really needed. It was Field of Glory is a fantastic battle system, and if you played a Field of Glory, you'll be able to play Strategos almost immediately, because it's used very much the same sort of approach. So it's almost like it really is Field of Glory, but with real time. Anyway, I'll be doing a video on that one a bit later on. Saw someone's video on Strategos a few days back. It seems promising. It looks very good. So Mammoth is saying he's going to be trying the new Workers and Resources DLC when it comes out. What's that one for? That's I forget which game that one's for, Manolith. Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean. Anyway, let's get into it. Hang on. Hitler is saying, what are the best ways to overcome to become positive on credits and income outside of selling resources? That is, it's your taxation. Just getting, like, if you're playing on normal taxation, you can go up to, I think, 40% fairly readily with it having no impact. And if you're playing on hard or above, I think 30% is what you need to be doing. If we have a look at ours, we are. She's not showing us there. If I just go back out again. Taxation, our income tax is on 20. So we can go to 30 because I'm playing on hard mode. And so if I go beyond 30, it will then start to impact me. But that's the easiest way to impact it. And then also just be careful with the planet, sorry, not the planets, with the cities, that you don't introduce or introduce them when they're ready to be introduced, because then they'll pay tax. Because at the moment we've got two cities, one of them pays tax, one of them doesn't. This city we're still trying to suppress. So if we have a look at Devon Mount, back in through here, this is an unincorporated zone, so it doesn't actually have any impact on my zone. For example, if I incorporated this one now, it would actually be it would ultimately be a negative drain on what we actually have. If we go to the barbaric levels, our civilization score here is 0, which means that if we then went back to, like at the start, I won't go through the detail again, but when we started, we were looking at Deepcron, and we've gotten this one to 12. If I then introduce this particular city as well into the group, excuse me, excuse me, sorry about that one. If I had have brought that one in, then my combined score would be 6, which means I would still be at 1 point something, 1.5-ish of the actual civilization score, which means I couldn't build that next building. So keeping that unincorporated for now is a good idea. The trouble is I don't get any money from it, so there's no real income while we sort of subjugate it. So it's going to take a fair bit of time for this one to come up. What I try to do is actually wait until the happiness in here is fairly high, and so we sort of have to go through the process of getting the warmongers to agree to sort of work underneath us, and there's going to be a lot of cards about dealing with that one. So Gyrox is saying redeemed a custom reward, a character, an army, or a city. You can have a city if you prefer, or anything actually, whatever you like. you decide, Gyrox. Whichever way you want to go. There's good choices everywhere. We've got 2 cities that can be named. City, okay. This will be Gyrox. Then I'll make this one. I'll keep the capital city the way it is, Deepcron, just because if that falls, it's game over for us. Whereas Devon Mount, if this one falls, we can still keep on playing. So we'll just come back through. Now I think I may have to. We've only just taken this one fairly recently. If I where's the governor there? Not seeing the card there about it. Yeah, just call the governor Sandra Baker.
Standing by.
Oh, hang on, I've only got 62 of these. Zone orders. I think I've already made this decision this turn. Yeah, so I can't do it this turn, but I'll remember to do it. I'll try to remember to do that one. Needs a mayor to be able to rename. Yes, we've got the mayor or the governor, but we've already done that in this particular episode. Let's just get our forces back. So we're not at war with this one, but we're pushing back the border. This will be our next target. So we've just come through here, and we're now sort of moving our forces across this line of hills. This is really nicely protected around this ring. So this is actually it's a very, very strong location. But this one, it also then means conversely that this one is until we break through these areas. So I need to get my forces towards Bellhop, I think it's called, Bellhurs. Bellhurs is the actual planet the city that we have to then go and take. Back over through here. We also have a whole lot of mutants, and so we're using different armoured cars that we've got to come back through and cause issues there. Now, I think we've got another armoured car group. I thought I had another one that I had brought into the map somewhere. There it is. So, this one just arrived in here. So we'll use that armoured car either to go and start to take over these mutants. We're not at war with the mutants yet, but we will be. So we might as well get rid of them with our armoured cars. The armoured cars, I'll go through that in a bit of a deep dive when we get into it. But in through here, we want to start to present ourselves in a position where we can then start to put pressure on this particular group. Now, this is Zeppelus, which is this is a zone of non-aligned forces. Let's just go through our decisions we need to make. One thing I like to do here is actually see what I need to be looking at. Now, my secretary is a real problem. With his happiness. So he will rebel at some point, which we'll have to then suppress. So we have to keep a number of forces back to be able to look after things like that. We've got diseased employees could get help. So this will be one thing. Secret Service Council needs a new leader, and so this is when we have now Eliza. What has she got? She's only cap 2. She does have covert ops right from the very, very start. But what I want to do with her is actually move her across into commanding the Beacon force, and then we use the lady. This is why I need my political points, is to start doing a bit of a reshuffle. So I'm going to go and go to the Secret Service Council. At the moment, if I go back into my management screens and go to the various leaders, these I don't want to have a cap 4 in charge of an actual brigade. So Prudence has got no covert ops skills, but she's very good at operational command, and that's then giving us a small amount of bonus there. She will become good over time because she'll learn fast because of her high capability. So I'm going to call her and get her to. I'm going to sack her. I'm going to relieve her. But if I go, and in fact this isn't too bad, because she's only in a low-level job now, if I can offer her for 6 PP, we end up with her not dropping as far. So we're just going to, like, her loyalty, and so I'm going to say, yeah, I'm promising you a better job soon. So we're going to do that one right now. The next turn we'll end up with them saying, so she's now gone back into the reserve pool. At the moment, Began's brigade doesn't have anyone leading it, so it's going to be a little bit underdone. If we go back to the map, and she is now only rating 7 through here, so we're going to appoint her to that role. So because of her high capability, so she is now in charge there, and so her relation has improved with 18 points with this extra one. We've still got 56 points there, so that's all okay. Now this is where we spoke about before about the bureaucratic points. Now the number of bureaucratic points that come through, this is actually what she'll end up needing to sort of put them into. So we've got, in this case, I'm usually pretty happy to just leave these by default, like at a third. So active field operations, this is the, so that one will end. So we've got active field operation, we've got the spying operations will actually also be important. So this one, I'll just keep it even, I think, and then the internal security priority. So all of them are good. Maybe the spying operations are going to be probably a little bit higher level for us. So I might just move that up slightly to maybe sort of like 40. And I'll just lock that one in and then just move these down to being equal. So 30, 30, 40. That will do. We'll just confirm that. That's the amount of bureaucratic points that she'll then split with what she's actually then going off to do. Now, because of that, we can now start to put spies into neighbouring provinces and sort of work with those. Oh, there we go. Began's gifted us tier 1 sub. Thank you very much for that one. Very much appreciated. So we've got the diseased employees could get help. So some of these, if they're going to impact different things, I then sort of have a bit of a look. In this case, install the specialist treatment gyms. That's going to get our heart levels up. Enforcement will go down. It doesn't really worry me. Again, this is going to impact what's happening in through here. So enforcement is over here. We've gone with government there. The government is the one that's currently leading. So with this would then mean a drop in enforcement. Heart will then go up further as well, which is already there anyway. So I don't mind that, +9 with heart. So again, I tend not to worry too much about it. It's more about what it's going to do to the actual different leaders. And so in this case, I could go with enforcement -2 and heart -2, but I'm happy for heart to be promoted. So I'm going to install the special treatment gyms, and you will see that this 59 will then go up. So we're putting +9 into that one. And so, yep, I've ordered special gyms. There we go. Click on OK. And so 68. Yeah, so it hasn't really put the pressure on there. That's interesting. I thought that may change. We can. There's a certain number that we can draw from here before it starts to. And I think I'd have to read the manual to see what it actually is. Zone decisions, back down through here, orders. Oh, here we go. This is one where we can change it. So we haven't actually done this. I thought we didn't think we'd done this one. So we can go and change the zone name. This is going to be Gyrox. Gyrox 13. There we go. So this is Gyrox 13. It's going to be the name of the of the province. And so we've got certain things like budgets, worker salaries, things like this that we can then sort of go and impact. So Halfman's also redeemed a custom reward. That one motorised units so far from the front they won't even remember that they are soldiers. I can't name individuals, unfortunately. I can only name groups. So I'll have to. I will eventually have like a group of armoured cars. So I'll try to remember to give you an armoured car group. We're going to be using armoured cars an awful lot on this particular map. They're going to be very, very important to us. So I've already got a few armoured cars out and about. Yeah, they're not part of an actual group there. I could even, I will be associating them with the group that's going to be going. Yeah, we'll actually have some of them as applied to different areas as well. I'll see how I go with that. But we're going to be moving them down. It may have to be another one of the other groups that we then associate with it. I'll ask you anyway at the time if you're happy with it. So we've got different things like worker recruitment modes. So recruit if shortage, fire if surplus is fairly aggressive. It's going to sort of then keep the workers will probably be a bit unhappy with that one, but that's going to be okay because our money situation is also going to be a bit of an issue. Zone unit supply, so never supply units recommended, is the so what this one does is the zone can help with your supply of military, but it's recommending that you don't do that one, because if you do it, you'll see that you've got allow supplying units if there's a shortfall, where you have to then micromanage that yourself, or supply units before regular supply with super micromanagement. So this has been added in not that long ago, maybe a year ago, I guess. So in this case, I just keep it on never supply units because it just means that your truck network has to do that. So rather than the zone supplying, you're just using the trucks to do that. Emergency food allowed. This one again, I know that I've got food in this location, so I don't need to do that. Maybe I should start to show this as well. If I just minimize that for a second and just go and click in this area. That way we can sort of see the numbers in through here. This is the loyalty. So the worker happiness is only 24. The population happiness is only 31. And so it's going to take a little bit of time for them to sort of kick in. The food that they may or may not have in through here, you can see there that the hunger is none in this instance. Hunger is none there for the workers either. And so if we have a look at the assets for Gyrox, they do actually have a dome farm. Now the dome farm has taken a little bit of damage from when we took over the city, but generally it's actually making good food for the population, and so that's all we sort of really need to have happen in through there. We've just finished construction of a truck station. I won't be building too much else in here until we really can afford it, but then we'll start to then build this city up as well to give us even more bureaucratic points, and also to get whatever resources we require from this particular zone. They've got schools and light industry, which the light industry is privately run. Eventually we'll get a cut of this as well, but not just yet. So they've got that themselves. The interesting with this sort of stuff is if we go across to Gyrox and then go to the population. Next, they don't have any plans yet for building anything, so we don't have to worry too much about what they're thinking of doing at this point in time. I've got militia in the town to suppress any uprisings. So that's important. That's what they're going to be sort of doing, is just to put pressure on the area itself. If you just go back in there again to our decisions, so they've got food. So emergency food is not really required here. I would allow it if they didn't have their own food supply, of course. So otherwise they'd become very, very unhappy, and a lot of them would then end up leaving. So zone occupied incorporated, so it's an unincorporated zone at the moment. This means it's not part of our calculations for things like the civilization levels and stuff like that. So we leave that unincorporated until the population is happy, and I try to keep it probably around about sort of like 60% would be sort of like the trigger to try to get like 60% happiness back and through this other side. And we can sort of, by hovering over, we can see what's impacting these. If we go back to the general population, Population happiness. Keeping it high is a good idea. Low happiness impacts willingness to cooperate with your regime as well as motivation to be productive. Also can cause unrest. Changes. Population happiness increased with 2 points due to luxury products and services. So that's sort of coming from the connection back to the supply network coming through it. Population increased with 9 points just in general. Population happiness increased with 1 point due to high quality of life. That's because it's got the schools. And we put the schools in this particular zone to try to start to raise the quality of life. Population happiness diminished with 8 points due to high unrest, and also diminished with 2 points due to high danger. So this is the unrest down through here. So unrest level. So unrest diminishes with 3 points due to time, and diminished with 12 points due to having the troops in the city. So we can push that down pretty quickly by having troops, but this is where rebellions will kick up. So we could have a rebellion fire up at any point in the zone itself. So we have to sort of be ready to be able to respond to this. Danger levels, danger diminished with 1 point due to time. There was danger in the zone because I guess we took it over. So Garek's saying, what is the change zone name? Is that new? I haven't seen that before. It's been around for a while, I think. I think this has been just reshuffled a little bit. That's been there for a fairly long time. But that's where you do it. You do it when you actually give orders to the governor. Now, going back to these little things, if we're just going to be managing this particular city, and again, I'm talking it through, but we don't need to really worry too much about it. Now, back over here, we have the ideal number, worker number. I'm not going to worry about that one. I mean, we've got 1,300 there at the moment of workers. These will work for us. So you need workers to labour on your public assets. So the workforce increased with 1,300 workers due to taking workers from the population. And so if we can pay them more than what the population gets, then they'll sort of be willing to work for us. Recruits, eventually, if it does become a very, very viable location, we'll be able to get recruits from here. But in this case, I don't really need recruits from here. They're not going to willingly come and join our armies for a long period of time. So I'm going to leave that off, maybe until we even sort of make it into a regular zone. Then we'll have a look at trying to get recruits from them. The maximum colonists per turn. This will be if we need to send them off into other zones, which we don't need to do either. So I'm not going to change any of those. Back over through here, the public budget is how much we give them for their own development, for them to develop up. I'm not going to give them anything at this stage. They can just sort of, we are playing autocratically, so we're not going to do, we're not going to sort of invest in it or have them invest in themselves just yet. We'll sort of let that one go. The worker's salary, I'll just move that one up. You're just giving it a little bit. This will make them a bit happier. So I usually go to about 5 with this one here, just to sort of try to keep the workers as happy as possible. Recruit sign-on bonus, we're not going to worry about that. That's for recruits, and colonist sign-on bonus as well. We're not going to worry about that. So it's really only the workers, and that's pretty much it. I'm just going to confirm those orders. And so worker happiness increases plus 25 due to the increase of worker salary. So if I click on OK, that's now gone up to below par at 49, but it's actually now improved a lot because we now are paying them. So that's actually, that's a good start for that particular zone. We still have to get this unrest is a big issue. Like that's going to sort of lead to uprisings. So we have to sort of be careful of that one. But that's sort of again like I'm going through in detail about this, but you don't need to when you're playing the game as much. Just sort of give the workers some money and away you go. That made him happy for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. So we've got diplomatic decisions as well. So nomad traders. Here we go. So we've got nomads are offering ammunitions. So Adolio territory traders are at our border in Gyrox 13. They offer to sell us 1,614 ammo for 223 credits. And I'm going to accept that, actually. I'm going to go yes. So that will also just because that would be a negative with the advisor, H. Spicker. But over through here, like we've got the... these are both the leaders of different factions in the government, and so they're both happy for that to actually happen as well. So we'll go yes, that's actually a good one for us. Commerce goes up, so commerce will then go up at the detriment of this if it does rise. but it's so it's going to go up by 6, which is going to make it 51. So it's going to be vying for for the government role. So we'll just go and go yes for this one.
Affirmative.
Oh, there we go. So no, it's putting pressure on that one. I'm not sure what the colours mean. I should read that actually, because I don't ever really bother looking at this. I just let that just manage itself. And so we're down to one decision, which is just our policy speech. So policy speech is then what we're going to be going for a goal with, and see what we can actually then go and do. So the goal is to reach number of hexes in which you have recon reaches 404. This will then improve our mind score. Again, not really important. We've got heart there as well. Victory points reaches at least 9.6. Now, that could be hard, so I'm not going to worry too much about that one through there. The goal of average relation with other regimes reaches 23. I don't want to do that. That's going to be the commerce again. So I'm not going to worry about that. I think I'm just going to go back to mind, because I know I'm going to be able to get that recon, because I'm going to have the spy network out. They're going to hit that one very, very quickly. So I'm just going to go and click on A, even though that would be the one that I'd be preferring to go and getting. So, but 9.6, we've only got like a number of like a amount of time to do this as well, which means we have to then take over more locations. Before we do that one, let's just go back to our reports, and we've got the overviews in through here. If we go to victory, we'll see where we are. Victory overview. So we are the Deep Cron Empire. We're at 7.4. So we need to raise that by a fair amount to be able to get that up to where it needs to be. So that's not really going to happen. You can see the number of the percentage of the planet. We're only 3.3 of the planet there. So it's not really going to help. So that's so I'm not going to worry about that one. Just go back to Empire dashboard there. Okay, so we'll just go back across, and so we're not going to reach that victory points. Well, we possibly will, but not. This one's easy for us.
Affirmative.
So your stated goal, number of hexes in which you have recon reaches 404. Mind profile increases with +8. So it's just that one there. All right, so click on OK. So no more decisions to be made. So we now can start to sort of move our forces out and about. I've moved some forces. If we just go back across, I'll just go and get these again. So when I'm looking at these, I'm just sort of skimming to see what my current... These are a little bit confusing, because it actually can be misleading. Like the medals that we actually have, we've got 238, but we're losing 237, which is, when you see the numbers are about the same, it usually means that you're taking the maximum amount. And so we've used up all everything we had in the previous turn, and we've replaced it this turn. So we're actually not, that's the limit of what we actually can build at this point in time. So we've actually sort of really don't have anything else left. We do have that there to spend immediately if we need to. Actually, let's look at replacement troops. We've got 6 of those, 2 machine guns. Buggies we may need to get some of, but we'll just leave that one where that is. That's okay. We've got enough of those for replacements at this point in time. Just reading more of the comments here. So Mule's saying, hi, thanks for showing this game. Having a blast. But it's an incredible game. Like all that stuff we just went through, like I spent a fair bit of time just going through that, an hour basically going through the bits and pieces behind the way the game sort of runs, but you don't need to focus on that overly with what's actually going on. Yeah, it's been a long time there at the bottom here, the change zone name. And Zgorak's saying, I thought it was one city to one zone. Can a zone have more cities now? Because zones have always... Yes, it is. It's still only one zone to one city, yes. So the city or the zone is the same thing. So you can only have one city in each particular zone. Right, so we are now back up. Sorry, just look at the chat from YouTube. Yeah, so how do you set it? There's a requirement. You can force it by calling your secretary and go to national budgets to set the budgets for the actual province for everything. It does cost another 3 political points, but so I'm not going to worry about doing it. But that's where you can do it. But it does come up all the time anyway. So it comes up like fairly often about changing the budgets. But you can't force it if you need to. So Zeron saying you need to logistics now, Daz. Do logistics, yeah, to go through it. Well, we sort of did it last turn. What I'll do is I'm going to turn on what my defaults for logistics are, which are to go to the second one through here, which actually talks about logistics. I like to see what my current points are along the roads. And I've been using traffic signals to push the, and we've only just built this road at the end of the last session. I forgot about this one. So we've built a road up through here, which hasn't kicked in yet, but we're turning off a lot of the traffic that deviates off this road. So we're sort of doing things. I'll talk about this when we need to go and do it again. But this, I leave that on pretty much all the time, just so I can see what the amount of supply is available along the road at any particular point in time. Anyway, let's just leave that one there. And Zeron saying, I can see too much in your network outside your city. Too much in your network outside your city. I'm not sure what you mean, sorry. So Hitler is saying, what are the best ways to overcome positive? Yeah, we did that one before. So also regarding chasing planets with life, I like to try and generate planets with massive monsters. I think the tallest I got was 27 meters tall, but I know it can get more dangerous than this. Yes, I'm sure it's been talked about, but could you give your opinion on the upcoming DLC, even if it's brief? Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I am hoping that it's not going to be micromanagement for players, because I know how difficult the game can be for new players to get into it. So I hope it doesn't suppress what new players do. And that was my only fear about it. Everything else I love about it. But that's something I'm thinking. Oh, geez, is it? If it adds complexity, I'm hoping it adds immersion, but not complexity. And I think it will definitely add immersion. But it's the with complexity aspect that I'm a little bit concerned about. If I'm being honest, it's just sort of hope that that's sort of going to be what does go on with that one. So Miguel is then saying, hello there, got an early access to the public Republic DLC. I possibly will, but usually not. There's not very much time I have with these before it gets released to the public, but I'm hoping I will have an opportunity to play it a little bit. Even if I do have access to it, I tend not to load it in until I'm allowed to show it. Because I don't like being a beta tester in the early part of a game, because it jades me for how I then think about the actual game itself when it comes out. And I like that to be a bit fresh for me personally, for if I'm going to be showing it. So I try to wait until I'm allowed to show it, and then I get into it. So for example, in a week or so, I'm allowed to... in a week and a bit, I'm allowed to then start to show the new DLC for Field of Glory. And I've played it a little bit. I've played it enough just to get a feel for it, but I don't want to play too much of it until it's really close for me to go and do that one there. I'm just going to grab myself a drink of water, be right back. Okay, so Gorax is saying I probably need to play again before the new DLC comes out. It looks like a lot has changed. It's a lot has been polished in the game. I think it is a very, very, very good game. So Mule X is saying I was looking for a game like this for a long time. Most similar one is Supreme Ruler, but that game is really limited. Yeah, I never got it. I never liked Supreme Ruler, to be honest. I've played it a very, very small amount, but never really got into it. So Gary Briggs' War in the series can interest you, says Hoffman. That's really quite difficult. And Mule's saying, do you need to supply points at resource? Hang on. Do you need supply points at resource points in the map for private investment? Being able to build there, not to build there, no, but afterwards you do. So if I have a road leading to a resource point, can I put in a pull only road and still have private investment being able to build on it? The way it works there is that they can still build, but then you have to supply it. So, for example, we've got a this Bryce one here is some free folk that live there at Bryce, but there's also this oil well which is privately run. And so this oil well, if I go and click on it, we can then sort of see a few different things about it. So I think it shows it in here, start of turn asset log. So paid 1 population point for upkeep. Paid all the upkeep costs, did the full upkeep. Asset needed 50 logistical points, and 291 were present. So it requires 50 to be operational. for that particular one, just to operate, not to build it, but just to operate it. So I paid 30 production. It just goes through all the different modifiers of how things are working, what it's actually then generating, and then sort of what how it then sort of allocates different amounts that then sort of are operated. So what it did through here is it produced 400 private oil at the start of the turn. It paid us 102 oil for us. And it also then created 4 private credits at the start of the turn as well. So it's sort of generating money. But when you look at the assets coming through, I'm allowing certain pull points to go through this particular traffic sign. If I press T for traffic signs, you can see I've got traffic signs mode down through here. I can go and click on this location twice. And so I'm allowing 90% of whatever logistics comes through this point will be able to flow through this one, except I've turned off the, it's not affecting pull points. Pull points are the draw from a location. And so if we have a look at the actual, if I just look at this one little location that goes along this road, this one was, if I go to the initial points, so this one was actually traveling. Look, we had 2,000 logistics points running through there. We then actually had them turned off at that point to all of the points except for pull points were then turned off at that point. So there was actually then 291 points were then pulled along this road. So there was actually a whole lot of different things that were required along this road. So 291, 291, 291, 291, and then finally we get to here. I think I just added this one in before we in this current turn, essentially in the last session. So 291 were required here. Now the pull points you can sort of see through there. There's 75 pull points that are there at the moment. If we have a look at, I don't know if it'll show it. Got the used points in through there as well, where different points are being used for the different groups. We've got like a fairly high number through there. 90 were being pulled out for other things. There should be more than the 7 that we see through there. If we have a look at the preview points, in the next one we're going to end up with, this is what will happen next turn, where 200 get pulled out. Well, actually, there'll be a little bit more than what's required there. But I want this to go back out because the groups that are going to be supplied through supply are all these as well as that pull point location. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm allowing that the requirements of these to dictate what's going to happen. If we just go to the initial points again, sorry, the used points. So I did have a unit there. All it needed was one supply. This one here required, there was 12 that had to get to that point. If I just press number 1, 6, and there was 6 that had to go to there. There was 90 that had to go to that location for whatever reason. There still will be the other location through here. So these are all the actual pull points. Like there was 7 that went to that location, of which it then split into 6 to go down that way, 1 to go that way. From here it went to 90. It supplied whatever it was that was there at the start of that turn, and then across to here. Maybe we'll do that at the start of the next turn and have a look and see what actually is happening there. But we know that this one here is going to have 50 asset pull points have been assigned to this hex, and so it requires the 50 to there, the 25 pull points for the units that are there as well. And so I don't know why it received so much points. It may have been, I may have not had the numbers tweaked the way that we sort of would want them tweaked, but the total supply it wants there is 75, but I am allowing 10% of whatever comes through to go this way, just so we have a plethora of supply at that point. It's complex, but in this case I'm just trying to sort of I'm trying to get this road to then establish itself. Let's go back to current points, and then we'll do the same thing after we end our turn. Just press number 1. We haven't declared war on these guys. We're just sort of monitoring what they do, but we will actually start to force them into submission in this coming turn. End our turn. The AIs will now sort of do their different algorithms. The way the AI works is that it has a plan of multi-turns of what it thinks it wants to do, and it just evaluates whether that plan is still active or not when it's in between the turns. So it's quite clever the way the AI actually does work. Here we go. We're at war with a group up there that just came in. I can push back our borders. Emira territory has violated our borders and declared war on us. Now, I'm not sure if that's the mutants or not. We're entering a crisis in through there. We discovered a new tech, housing, so we can So if we utilise economies of scale for constructing housing, we should be able to raise gigantic housing projects, both for social housing and for worker apartments. So probably not something that I really need to worry about, but we'll have a look at it. My scouts found ancient storage near Kuna in the zone Gyrox 13. 5 machinery have been secured. That's good for us to be able to build certain things. Support factions, so this is what we end up getting. Actually, I forgot to send the spies out last turn. So we'll do that now. So I did actually forget. There's a few things I should have done last turn that I didn't do. And one of them was to start spying. So we're going to start spying. We want to get to the central area. This one's been cut off from supply. The armoured cars can actually survive this for a little bit of time. Yeah, it is the mutants. The mutants have now declared war, which is fine. So they've declared war, which I'll come back and we'll talk about that one. Let's just quickly go through the supply. So that currently what we have is we've got 179 supply points coming out to Bryce. If we have a look at the initial points, yeah, we're using 66 points here. So 50 of those will be drawn in. But because of that orange traffic signal there, I'm actually allowing most of it to come through this particular area. So Seva's saying housing is nice to get pop happier, especially the workers. Yeah, so I'll have a think about what we do with that. I'll come back to that in just a minute. We've got 4 decisions. I do like to look at the decisions to see what we've got. Drills for bureaucrats proposed. We'll have a look at that one when it comes up. Economic Council Research Project. Now, I'll think about what we do here. We'll have a look at that one as well before we do it. Zone, so walkout agitator in Gyrox 13. We can expect a lot of problems here. So investigate who is the agitator. Now, the governor doesn't want to do this. So this is something where we can give in to some of their demands for just 26 credits. This is where we can use democracy. This is using meritocracy. Investigate who is the agitator. We'll have a look at that one as well. And then unit decisions in through here. New commander for the 1st MG machine brigade. So this is where Eliza will then kick in, I think. I think that Totor was Cap 3. So I may use him for something else. And she was a Cap 2. And she had fairly good operational command. So she's very, very good at doing the operational stuff. So we'll definitely appoint her to that role. In charge of the 1st machine gun infantry. So she'll replace over whatever the other lady's name was. All right, so I'll come back to those other 3 in just a minute. So this is if we have a look at the used points, so we have, you can see that they're being supplied with certain numbers coming across the different areas. Where it gets to blue, it means that there's diminished supply coming through, but up until that point in time, you can see there's also like a bluish tinge in through there. There's a reddish tinge in through there. This one didn't receive any supply, but it's actually still operational and ready to go. We have other groups down this way as well. So we've got different forces around the place. Stormwind's subscribed, Tier 1. Thank you very, very much for that one. What kind of planet do we have this time? This is a desert world. There's not a real lot of water. We've got to go and start to try to find that water. Now we're at war with this group, which have now come forward, and what we wanted to do was make sure that we control this group through we're going to be moving. This is the 1st machine gun infantry, and I'm using them to put a mask out across this area for now, just to try to sort of stop the invasion when it does start to come through. I'll move them off in just a minute. We're still in traffic signs mode. I'll just go back to movement mode. So we want to be on the mountains. If I just press number 1, we've got mountains, low mountains there. I can just put that one into the high mountains. That will become an anchor point. This is friendly. These groups in through here. This is Iron State. They're at peace with us. This is Darkshire, which are raiders. So they're going to be able to have very, very high movement. So we'll just keep them where they are. And we'll just move them across. We've now got ourselves a line of troops in the mountains. So the mountains are going to give us very, very high protection. They're not going to break through that. Which then means I can still just keep everything else then just moving along in the other direction. If we go back to Gyrox as well, just while we have a look at this one here. The unrest is going down, which is good. So diminished with 3 points due to time, diminished with 10 points due to the 4,000 troops that we actually have in the city. That's good. We'll go and have another look at different other locations. These are all the pull points. I'll just go back to current points again. So yeah, so as long as we've got the pull points coming in there at the end, I think I can just build it whenever they feel like it anyway. But it's so the building I don't think requires the pull points. I mean, we could test it when we start to see them building something else, I guess. I'll just leave that one where that is. Okay, so yeah, migration also takes into account for housing. Yeah, so it's we'll have a look at that though. It still may not be what we want. Let's have a look at what we're doing through here. We're now getting more positive income coming through. Finally, energy is now just +8. Did that go down? It was 26, I think. Oh, sorry, 67. I'm not sure if that was the same. Not sure if that changes, because it's now spring, which means it's autumn for us down in here. Right. Well, we'll come back to the different units that we've got. Maybe we do the decisions now. There's nothing. We've now covered this point. They don't encroach on each other's borders, but they will encroach on my borders. So I just needed to have that little section done through there. We want to keep on also thumping up through here. The 2nd infantry as well needs to keep on moving up. This is the 3rd infantry down this way, and the 1st infantry this is the Began's infantry that's going to be protecting this border. Began's infantry also has the tanks, which we'll be wanting to get into a good position to attack this here. What I want is I want to grab this nice close city. So we're going to go in with a couple of different groups, not so much all of this stuff there that Began's got. All right. So actually, Team Games are saying this game is some of the best AI for sure. Yes, it's there's a lot more in the AI in this game than what people realise, I think. So we're going to destroy this one. Let's just go and get this one done. So I'm going to move this one in. We can see as the armoured cars getting closer. It's funny that this one here we've now got Recon of 56. That one should have given us better Recon, but it just didn't. The armoured cars, let's actually talk a little bit about attacking the mutants, because these are really, really easy in terms of what we can then go and do with them. So we've got a Recon here of 84. There's a refugee camp in through here as well, which will give me 200 population back into my capital city, which would be really quite nice to get that one just coming through all the time. These guys that are actually in here, these mutants, these are Amira mutants. There's only 900 of them that we can see in through here. But a Recon, so minimum Recon for the unit info is 40, but maximum Recon really to get full information is 400. We're only getting 84, so we've got a reasonable idea as to where the mutants actually are, but not fully. So we're going to go in and attack them essentially. So if we have a look at them through here, this is what what they do. So they've actually got like this. They're very, very, very weak, and so this is their attack, soft defense. So against infantry, they only defend at 7 if they get attacked, but they attack at 15. So they're sort of almost the opposite of standard. Infantry, but it's still a very, very weak score. And against sort of armor, like against hard attacks and hard defense, they actually only attack at 7, and also only defend at 7. Now you'll see through there again for tanks, walkers, motorized, etc. It's 7. So for armored cars, this is the one that we have to then look at. For our armored car units, and this is the standard ones that we actually have. We've got bunker busters that have been assigned to these as well, just sort of automatically almost. But these in through here are coming through. It's a Recon buggy. It's got a soft attack of 145, so dramatically much higher than the mutants, which means I don't have to waste my forces chasing the mutants around too much. I can just do these with armoured cars. And so in this case, it's a massive advantage that we end up having, and we even have a bigger defence against their attacks. They're attacking at 7 back, and we're defending at 290, which sort of then means that the odds of them being able to actually do any damage at all are extremely low. So we'll just go in and only attack with these, I think. We'll just go and press on OK. And so in this case, what I do want to do is just stop them from being able to escape. So I'm going to move this militia force into there. That one can still go down into this one. This one's a bigger group, 3,200 mutants. We also have another group in through this other side as well. We've covered that one. I can actually move this one up into the ruins. I can move this one down. This now stops them from being able to then move away. If I hit this one hard, it will then run into there with whatever's left. Or I could send this one in as well to attack this particular group. Actually, I'm not sure why I can't do that. Oh, it's a high mountain. All right, we're going to have to go in with other forces. So they're actually on a high mountain. The high mountains, if we have a look at if I go and click on that area through there, high mountains, no vegetation, you'll see there that there's a movement type cost. And so for wheels, it's got non-applicable. I can't move my scout units into that particular region. So we will have to attack that ultimately with the infantry. It's a 60 movement, 60 action point cost to move foot into there. Air gets through there easily. Walkers get there at 60. Tractor I can't send in either. So there's a lot of things that I can't actually move into that particular group. They also have much better entrenchment with everything. So there's really nothing I can do about that. So I'm just going to go and smash this one. And you can see the odds are 7 to 1. I'll just go and do the attack.
Going in.
So even if the odds weren't that great, it still would be fairly reasonable for me to go and smash them, because we only killed 3, because the attack coming back won't really do much damage to us. So in that case, it's sort of like it's an easy win for us, and we can then start to sort of then move off. Like I can move that one down into that location. We've then got 3 infantry that can then attack them next turn. And our infantry, if we have a look at our rifle militia, ours actually attack at 30, defend at 60. So that's sort of that's how that's going to play out. But we may lose some units when we do go and attack this. Anyway, let's just go and move these across. I can attack this group. And I've still got this as well that can move around. Now, with the armoured cars, they've actually got like a lot more supply. We're not receiving any supply. If we click on the supply for the actual unit through here, we didn't receive any actual supply. There's a pickup issue, and it'll tell us what's going on there. We couldn't get a supply because this mutant moved into position, so we couldn't actually do much with that one. But we actually have like a big storage of supplies in through here with our food, and like we've got a few turns before it starts to really sort of worry us. So let's move on up, and we'll do an attack here.
Bring in the tanks.
There's more there than we thought. We actually lost one. That's unusual.
Successful.
So that would have been a very, very unusual attack coming back through there to lose that particular armoured car. So we've now sort of got them to retreat up to this point and through here. If I go up to there and then attack again, these are Galactic Republic ones. We've only got one of these.
We need more firepower, sir.
Yeah, we didn't quite get there, but they did hold on. Let's just leave them there. That gets the next turn. We'll end up with with this being much more secure. Coming back in around this other side. Now we also want to just keep on encroaching into the terrain up through here. So we want to move these forces up and around. Okay, we're now seeing frontline forces there. We have another Galactic Republic group in through this other side. I wanted to use these for scouting into here. The scouting is very, very important. That way we can sort of start to see other terrain using the armoured cars. We're not at war with this one yet, but we're moving in. These are fanatics. These are a religious fanatical group. I can move the tanks up. Just move them into there. I'll move Began's group up in this way, the headquarters. So we're now sort of just moving our way across the road. I'm thinking I'll actually keep this one together, but I'll keep the tanks sort of separate. So I'll do that. I'll use the tanks with Began's tanks to sort of help sort of fix up this other location. That gap there, they shouldn't be able to really cross that, so we'll just keep these moving on up. Yeah, we were using this as well. I'll keep that one just where it is for now. I'll just keep on moving that along the road. This one here, I'll move it onto the road. That's the current points. what's interesting there is there's no points that we see along this road. So we see that there's still some current points along here, but then there's nothing through here. If I go and have a look at the bottlenecks, it's all going to be sort of black through there. So it's now, there's been a massive drain from here all the way up to the city. This is the first turn that Gyrox needed to be supplied. And so this will be, like, don't worry about it if you come across these sorts of things where you end up thinking, oh my God, what's going on with the supply? It just means we've used it. If we look at the used supply, we've used all the supply going to the city. And so the city has drained an awful lot of supply. If we go and click on the actual city itself, we should then start to sort of, so this is actually the units. If we go back to Gyrox, actually this is going to show us the supply. If we have a look at the back in through here with the Supreme HQ, because it's, and you'll see that with the Supreme HQ, it's now got black there, which means that certain units aren't being able to get through. So we can sort of do a very quick analysis of what actually has happened here. So we've got a mountain of supply, but it's using the mountain of supply to supply Gyrox initially. That won't stay for long. That will sort itself out. Now, one of the things, Gyrox didn't have its own truck station until this turn. So this turn it'll be active. I think if we go and click on it, have a look at the assets there. It does actually have a truck station, which will only just be kicking in now. If I go and use the traffic signals again, press the T key, and go to, for example, here, and look at the logs per source hex, I'm only getting the one source hex for the truck station. So I'm not getting any truck stations, like the station at Gyrox did not kick in at all. That will kick in next turn, because we only just built that. So that probably doesn't make much sense, but this is the source hexes. You can see how many different sources of logistics actually end up entering that particular location here. Now, typically, what should be happening is that at Gyrox, that should be there should be trucks. The truck station at Gyrox should be supplying a lot of truck points into here as well, but it's not. But it will next turn because it's only just fired up. But there's been a lot of drain. If I go back into here again, go back to the Supreme HQ, and just go and select it, we can see what actually happened through there. So the Supreme HQ out to the zones, there was 3 of 3 requested there. I don't know what that was. Out to the units, so it almost got everything supplied to the actual units. There was some, 411 was requested, but it delivered nearly everything out to the units. So that means that my actual fighting forces, if they start to receive lower than what they should get, they're going to have things like that blue, for example, the black that we have there when it didn't get any supply. All of these are still fully supplied. So it means that all the units got what they needed, so that was not really a problem. And then the zone to the SHQ was actually there was a big request from the to supply to go back from Gyrox back down into Deepcron. So that was actually, it wasn't going the other way, it was coming back in. So there would have been like a lot of supplies that would have been, essentially sort of coming back that way. But that should only be for like one turn or so. It shouldn't be active all the time, I don't think. I'm not exactly sure where we find out the detail about that one. There was also supposed to be 4 replacements. By that stage, we'd run out of logistics. We almost had enough to cover everything. But in this case, there were 4 replacements that didn't get replaced. So, or there was 4 requests, but 0 got replaced. Now, it could be just militia, that we didn't actually have any militia to replace them with. That may be the case. Just not sure. So we'll find out. So if it happens one turn, don't worry about it. 2 turns, start to think about it. 3 turns, yep, you've got a problem. So don't let it worry you too much if logistics sort of ends up becoming like when you do see these things where you've got 0 left between things, particularly when you first take over a zone. You can see there that we've still got essentially logistics is still active through here, but it's just from there to Gyrox, it's actually used up everything. So it's sort of like that. The logistics there is it's been the problem, but it's still continued on past that afterwards. So there's still a lot of logistics that was actually getting to that location. What else is there to talk about with this? I know that logistics is a tricky one. I try not to again worry too much about it until I start to really see problems that sort of are persistent over time. In this case, like it's only turn one, and so we can forget how we can see this. If we go back to management, let's just see if we can actually figure out what's the best way to actually look at this one. If we look at the assets, this is Gyrox. Ammunition. Okay. This is so it had 1,500 ammunition, and so this was actually where the remember how we bought it off the trader. The trader then gave it to Gyrox, and so there was 1,500 ammunition there, and then that ammunition, and I'm not sure how much supply it uses. I'm thinking that would be what it actually does end up using, but there seems to be an awful lot more. So maybe it's 4 to 1. I'm not sure how that one actually sort of does work, but this one here, it did have 1614, but only 1520 was actually delivered to the zone itself, back to the SHQ. So this is the SHQ pickup, and so the SHQ picked up some extra food. So we delivered some food back to the zone. We didn't get all the ammunition, machinery. We remember how we picked up 5 machinery. And we at that location, with only 4 of them got sent back. Actually, that may be the thing that's actually taking up a lot of the space as well. The industrial points. So this one here, it produced 47 industrial points, but and 47 then went back to the SHQ. So that was actually from where their workers were then working. So with their food, they only consumed 13 food. They produced 65. And so we picked up the shortfall there, and then sending that one back to back to where it was. That then leaves a zone, like an inventory. You can notice that there's like 2 extra turns of food that has been stored at the location. So they've got 2 turns worth there anyway. So they're storing that for the population. Then they've got ammunition of 94 because we couldn't get all of it back, and 1 machine couldn't get back. That's sort of what's being left over there. So that then just does sort of show us what's going on. They're building a town custom. This is actually the asset that they have decided to build. We didn't see that in the list of what they were thinking of building, but that's what they're going to be building. So that's fine. I can just leave them to do their own thing there for a little while. Let's go back out to the map and start to sort of develop things up. Gyrox is saying, I wish it was more or easier ways to earn industrial points. An alternative could be for the devs to split IP into 2 separate resources, since it's used for so many different things. Yeah, I don't know. Like again, that would sort of complicate the game. I mean, you do actually have there are things that have been added to it. Mainly for energy. Yeah, mainly just for energy, I guess. But yeah, you just got to manage all of this to then build it up. You can see we're doing fairly well now with everything we've got. Actually, I wonder if that ammunition all that ammunition that was bought from the other group. Let's get our spies working effectively now. Covert ops. So we've got different things. So we can send in spy rings. We can support special factions in foreign governments, which we don't need to really worry too much about. But these are the political points to spend on these. Now, to spend in, we've got 5 cards to send in 1 spy. We've got a 3 spy card here. It's easier to send 1 in than it is to send 3, and it's easier to send 3 than it is to send 6. But we can certainly sort of have a crack at it and just sort of see how it does work. So this is like fairly cheap to at least give this one a go. So if we go to the target zones around us, again, we're looking to try to move up to here. Now we're going to be taking this one over at some point. Let's go to this area here, which is non-aligned forces, and so we'll go to the send a spy team. Just 3. Send if we want to send 3 in there. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe 3, or do we send a 6 in? I'll send a 3, and I'll send 6 in somewhere else. So difficulty is 140 minus your relation level. So difficulty is halved against minor zones. A covert ops skill roll will be made by the director. So the difficulty here is 58. If I did it this one here, it's a 68 difficulty, which makes it a lot more difficult. So covert ops skill is 1 die 100 plus 15. So we end up, essentially that's a 50-50. This one here is a 48. So we've got a much better chance of sending in individual spies. Let's try the 3 and just see how we go. So So we rolled 24. So we did not infiltrate our spies into Zeppelus. Luckily, we escaped detection. Doesn't really matter because it's not really a controlled zone. We now just start to send in these. So we'll execute this stratagem. Rolled a 25. Again, didn't work. Now this is unusual. We're rolling very, very low numbers here because we're rolling, but every time we do it, she gets experience. And the more we use up these cards, the more of a sort of like a pull there is on getting more of these sort of cards. So I'm just going to keep on going with this. Rolled a 50, so we just managed to infiltrate 1. We can get critical hits as well. So we'll try to get 3 into that zone. 1 isn't enough. Great. It's critical success. We managed to infiltrate double the number of spies initially planned into Zeppelus. So we've now got 3 spies there, and that's enough for us to see what's going to be going on at Zeppelus. So I've still got I've got 2 spy cards left. So Zeppelus, this zone here, however big that is, and usually these are fairly large, we should then start to have vision on this as of next turn because we've got 3 spies in there. And if we have a look at the zone there, it's not showing us the number of spies. Yeah, I'm not seeing it there. We should, like, there is a way to see this. Is it maybe through this zone? No, we're just not seeing it. I'm not sure how we see it there. Anyway, that's one area that one's getting going. I think I'll do this zone as well. So we'll just go do Idalio territory. This is culture unknown or minor regime. These are I'm picking on these because they're again going in towards the equator, and I want to find out what's actually around in these zones. I sort of know what to expect from these. I could try to send them up against the raiders there, or this one here. We're going to be ending up taking this one fairly soon. These are the religious fanatics, so we'll end up taking this zone. So I don't want to waste spies in those zones. Jupiter as well. We don't know how big it actually is, but I think we'll send them into this territory in here. So we'll just go back into the decisions again. Oh, sorry, not decisions. The strat cards, and so all of this stuff that Prudence is now doing, she will then be training herself up to do this more effectively. This is where the capability level then kicks in. So we're going to just waste all of these cards essentially initially. So we'll just go into, now this is going to Zeppelus. We will do that one. Roll to 74. And I really need to get 3 into each. So we'll just try again. Roll to 18. So we failed there. We've got 1 spy. I'm going to try sending 6 spies in. Yeah, we just managed it. Okay, so we've got a lot in that particular territory. So we've got 2 territories now that we'll start to sort of see different things happening with. Let's go back to our decision making again. Drills for bureaucratics proposed. This autocracy goes up by 8. And you can see it down through there. Where do we get martial law? Gain at aristocracy 60. Reign of fear. Gain at autocracy 70 there. So we're not going to get to 70, but we'll get to 68. That will then sort of also make the chances of us getting that next level a little bit more powerful. This one here is some sort of. This one here, autocracy goes down and commerce goes up. Commerce is very close to being the prime mover there. I think I might keep on pushing this one through here. This one's obviously pro-commerce, although this one does give me. Yeah, no, look, I'll keep this one above the 60.
Roger.
Just go that way. Economic Council. Now, this is where we need to now figure out what are we going to do with our Economic Council. So we'll do the zone decisions first. So work out agitator and Gyrox. So workers are being agitated into leaving your public assets in Gyrox 13. We could undermine the agitator by doing an extra payment, or we could try to find and arrest him. So let's go and do. It's an easy one for the democracy. So we'll go and do the democracy of +6. And just click that one in through there. So that's now gone up to 46. It didn't really do much with our money. So the Now, do we actually research housing, or do we keep on going for something else? And so, what we need to now figure out is housing important to us or not? And if we go across into these and then go to text, so anything that we've actually got that we understand, like we understand solar energy, we understand ammunitions factory, all these different things that are in through here. The Economic Council will have the little EC, hydroponics. So what this one will then do, this tech will enable you to build algae vat-based farming. So this one here, we could actually end up getting, so they have very low demand on water storage. So in this case, it would be a good one for us to have on this planet, would be to have hydroponics, but it's not urgent for us. And we also have the water-soil recomposition. So in this one here, tech allows you to gain water from the lithosphere, so from the soil. It's a difficult process, but always possible. Yeah, so that's something, again, not urgent for us. That's in the chemistry area. Back in through here, we've got heavy industry, which I would like to get at some point. The VidCom broadcasting would then sort of certainly be good for sort of suppressing our population. That would be an important one for us. And then we've got housing as well, which now is yellow because we've just discovered it. So we've discovered it but not researched it yet. So you need the Economic Council to discover this tech, which we did. Gives you the ability to construct social housing assets and worker apartment assets. Both will help you retain the population in a zone. That's important to us, actually. So this is actually viable for us to now go and actually continue the research. The way I've got my my research set up is, if there's no research going on, it all goes into discovery. If I do give them research to do, all the discovery goes into research. So it's sort of an either or, the way it works. By default, it would be 50-50, so it would take a bit longer to get the research, but let's go and allow that to happen. So we'll just go back to our back to the game, back to the map. And so we will actually go and allow housing to be the new target for the research. Now, I'll just show you what I meant by what I did there before. With the way I set up my Economic Council and also my Military Council, is I allocate nearly everything into research and nothing into discovery. If I'm not doing any research, you can see in the Military Council, I've got no research targets set, no research targets set through here as well. The 0 BPs all get put back into discovery. As soon as I then need to go and do some research, all of that then goes back in the subsequent turn into research. And similarly back in through here, I've got no research target set. So even though it's been allocated all the resources, it's not using any because it doesn't need them. So it all gets put back into discovery, back in through here. That 46 I can now move back in if I choose housing, and we'll start to sort of move through that particular one through there. So I'll just go back into my decisions, and we'll actually select that one. So next turn, that one will then be the opposite. We'll end up with most of it going back into research. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's sort of the way I set up those sorts of things, just so I can get the research done quickly when I find the research that I do want. All right, so it's going to be a little bit of a tricky one, but we are coming from different angles into that particular zone. This zone in through here is just holding the line. We're not at war. There's no real problem here. I'm just sort of might just move that one off. Just press the M key. I'll just move it back out again. In behind. They're all set up. They're all set up. So we're in a strong position through here to be able to then sort of rush into the side. Again, I'm in no great rush to take these, but I do want to get them, soonish rather than later, but not urgently. Back in the city, we've got like a couple of different militia groups. Now is it O that I press? Yeah, O will then change it to put a G on it, just so I know that it's actually, I'm using it as a garrison. It doesn't actually change anything that the thing actually does do. I wish that garrison would actually stop the movement of the unit when you actually do have a garrison, but I've just pressed the 0 key to get that to just show garrison. Okay, we've done this turn as well, so we're now rattling through the game. So Gorix is saying, what is housing and how does it work? Well, let's get it researched, and then I think that's fairly new in the game, like it's a newish development. We may need to do more here. Yeah, they're moving in towards the fights. They're moving their forces back. Again, the AI is very good. Oh, they've moved off that mountain. That's just good. Here we go. We just saw the spies kick in at that last turn there. So discovered fuel deposits in Gyrox. We're not going to have a problem with fuel. Now, fuel only comes if you've actually got life on the planet. We have like sort of like algae type life on the planet. That's what we have, which is enough for us to then have biofuel that we can then mine. Okay, we've now got Recon of 629 hexes. This is why getting that Security Council was the best idea, and we only had to get to 404. That's like typically that would be thinking you do that with your armoured cars and just moving through territory, but using spies, we then get all the hexes that we need there. We discovered the new tech, high-speed machine gun. Machine guns are amongst our most lethal weapons when defending against infantry attacks. By increasing the bullet count of our machine guns, they'll become more lethal. So this is actually worth, researching. We've got a medal ceremony there if we do need it. We've got a bit more spying available for the spy master. A problem with a unit with low supply, or just dismiss that one and just go back into that one. So luckily they came off this road, which now, so they've moved back away from these, which means that we can now move up and sort of start to sort of then push forward. Now where's the force that was up there? We've lost that group. Not sure why. I don't think it's starved. I'm not sure how we get that information. Let's have a look at see if we can see that in reports. I'm not sure where it shows up. Organizations, no, it won't be that one. Yeah, nothing there. Overviews. I'm not sure how we lost that one. Yeah, so I'm not really unsure as to what happened there. It's models, yes, none of those. Help, would it be under this one maybe? No, it's not. It would be in here somewhere. Urgent issues. First DasTactic has units with one unit with bad supply. Not sure how we lost that group. Yeah, it won't be any of these. Trade report spies, overview there. So we just got the number of spies at these different locations. Yeah, I'm not sure actually where that is. Yeah, it's not showing up. The HQs, these ones weren't part of an HQ. So if we just go back to the first SHQ news, maybe in through here. See if it's in here somewhere. No, it's not even mentioned. I don't know what's happened to it. That's very unusual. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So we're looking at GR grade. Like it was one of their GR units. Somehow we no longer have, and that just doesn't make sense. There was only one vehicle in it. I need to actually get that one as a replacement. Yeah, I'm really unsure as to what's gone on there. Just move that one up and around. We'll just keep on pushing these back away from the border. We're going to need to get roads out here as well. So I will build the roads. Did it disband due to lack of supplies? Well, I think it would have shown me if that was the case. And normally it doesn't happen in one turn like that. It still had one turn worth of supply because we had a look at that one. I had GR vehicles lost, went out of supply. It says frick. Oh, okay, maybe that was it. Maybe 2 supplies in a row. two turns in a row without supply, because it was sort of just outside of our zone. But let's go and build this road. So just press R, get a dirt road along this area, just to sort of head up towards this location. We've got to actually, I can now start to build other things as well. I should really now go back to Deep Cron. I keep on forgetting to do things that I should be doing. So we'll go to construct, go to government buildings, and we'll definitely get the bureaucratic offices number 2. And I'll be a little bit underdone there, but I'm going to go to Gyrox as well and just go into construct. And we'll go to energy and just grab a solar panel field here as well. We'll start construction of that one. That's just going to then round out our energy usage a little bit as well. Now they haven't encroached down any closer. That's as far as they've gotten. We can now see different groups in through here. We're not seeing too much. Unfortunately, we're not seeing water there. We are seeing a road that goes all the way back up there. And through here we have basic information on the terrain, but again, no water. So it looks like we're not in luck with that lake being close by. If we have a look back at the strategic map, we now have reasonable vision back in through here as well. Maybe up into here would be good. Just seeing a bit more, or even out through this other side. What's that? That's non-aligned forces. This is all non-aligned forces out through here, but it's different zones. Science derelict out that way, minus... Okay, what's this one here? This is Afaria. This is all one big area. So we'll actually send our next group out this way, just to start to get more of a vision on the actual world itself. So let's go out that way and just set these up. So that's it there. Go to the strategic maps. Go to covert ops. I'm trying to send in 3 spies. We should now see with this one through here. See how her difficulty has now gone up a little bit because she's getting better at doing this. And if we have a look at her card, we'll now start to. We should have seen that there was an increase in covert ops, but there actually wasn't. So I'm not sure why she's getting better abilities. Look at the history. Yeah, so you've got it pointed there. Spend a whole lot of XP to improve infantry tactics. That's offensive tactics. That's unusual. So she hasn't really been playing those. Skill log. This should be improving over time. Just exit that one because we want the covert ops to just kick in. So we'll execute this stratagem. Great. She's managed to get 3 spies into there. I've got 1 more spy left. Let's go and move that one into another location. Target. That's a minor faction there. I'll go to Science Derelict, which is a large region of non-aligned forces. There we go. We just got one in there. We won't see much of that one, but hopefully we'll find water. We'll find where that water is, just so we can get a bit of a feel for where we should be aiming for. Incident with, now this is with the Director of the Economic Council, is actually unhappy. So we've got a couple of these. We've got an incident with an overambitious order. I'm going to ignore that because I don't want to, actually if I support him, we do get a relation. Fist goes down, that's okay. Yep, so we'll support the action.
Aye, aye, sir.
Alright, so that's good. And so that will then make him a little bit happier ultimately. Request that the BP production, yes, we accept this. This is where the game will sort of guide you a little bit into what you should be doing. So accept that request. I think we've already just started building that anyway. And then nomad traders offer more ammunitions. Again, I'm going to say yes. For now, we don't really need any more, but we'll just keep on going that way just to keep them on side as well. We don't know what these things are. This is these are nomads. These can become a bit of a problem as well. Ultimately, these can move very, very quickly. Anyway, we know where they are. We know what they're doing. Now, back in through here. Yeah, it's a shame about losing that Galactic Republic force. That's not great. You can see here this turn, we've now got the supply running very, very positively up through here now. This is working quite well. And then next turn we'll end up having all of this stuff will be in supply as well. So we'll be able to sort of start to move off in that direction. Well, we need to really get our group across into this zone. Let's go to the movement. So they've sort of left themselves in there. Do we want to surround this? Okay, come across more forces in through there. Really want to have the tanks coming in from opposite directions if we can. There's not aligned forces there. I'll just move this one up. We need to keep them fairly close to where the combat is going to be occurring. Move that one up. This one will try to possibly sort of move in and stop us from operating. So we have to sort of, like, it will try to break that road link. Just move that one back. So we've got this secure line, which these guys are now digging in. If we have a look at the machine gun, so their entrenchment is where is it? 165 on that big mountain. It's 140. Actually, which one's the big mountain? I think that one was the big mountain there. Got another big one there as well. 165. So they'll just keep on digging in over the different turns that then sort of come in, which will be good. So go about this thing. Can you check his history? Which one? I'm not sure which one you meant. Looking for that unit, I'm guessing. It wasn't a part of any other group, I don't think. So it really has to be coming from the first SHQ. I'm thinking it's the. If you have a look at, we've still got one more of them. That's one there. These are Phantasma there. I've only got the one that came up of the Phantasmas that sort of showed up. Let's have a look and see what we're dealing with out here. Okay, we're looking at little raiders, militia bikers and buggies. It's a good chance that they'll actually try to make a bit of a beeline into this gap. So we may have to sort of then reshuffle. May have to even get another group at some point. We don't really have quite enough yet to warrant with our recruits, but eventually we'll sort of get there. This one will definitely go on the road. Like, there's no two ways about that. I'm going to strategically move this one along the road because I've now got all these truck points. So I'm just going to go and move that one. It's going to move the readiness down, but that will still be okay. So move that one across, and then we have this one as well. So move both artillery up just to help with the attack on the city. The unrest here, Gyrox is still high at 40. I'm just going to keep those both those groups in there. I could move, if I just go back to the normal movement, I could move this one up just to block off what that one can do. It's a high mountain, so it really, if I can leave it so that it's got another way out, that would be ideal. Can't really move them off. I'll move that one up to there just to protect the road. Just keep the road protected there. All right, so keep them going. They're all done. Done all the decisions. Building. Are we building there yet? Under construction. 2 turns for that one, and then we are building also in here for the solar panels. Okay, so we're pretty healthy with what we have through here. It's one of these games where you do want to be building as whenever you possibly can, but you also if you don't, you're still going to be storing up different equipment and so on and so forth. We're now moving backwards with our food a little bit. So maximum storage is 5,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to my food supplies, which are here, and we're only running at these at 25% production. So I'm going to move this one up to 50%. Which will then sort of get a bit more production coming through. That will then drain more water. So the water as well, like the water that we're doing, actually we're doing at 100% supply there. This one's still coming through fairly strong. We've still got a fair bit of water storage we can actually have. If we go back to 75% production, I'll go that way for now and just sort of see if I can manage these a little bit better in terms of how they fill up. The oil, we're going backwards with a little bit. Again, we're just running at 25% production, but I do actually have storage there. We can go up to 6,000 there. I'll leave it where it is. Once we start to really build the tank groups, that's going to then impact a lot of what we then do. Not ready for that yet, though. Yeah, we're down to 700 now, so we're losing a bit of this. So getting the Interior Council to maybe get the taxation up might be... Actually, probably the Model Council will be the next one that we bring in when we do get the opportunity. Let's just go and undo this one. But we do want to take this particular city. These are just fanatical groups. If they don't get forces back inside, we may be able to actually take this next turn. Expecting that to come running through here. If it does, we're going to probably need to get another infantry group back into this other zone just to protect this this section. Yeah, we did move to the north, which is what we thought might happen. The way that we had it blocked, which is good. Oh, cool. Found another water deposit in Gyrox. And Perseus has violated our borders and declared war on us, which is actually okay. Advancing troops found ancient storage near Loman. So 6 more machinery. This is good. It makes it sort of we can save money. You can see our money is going backwards now. We'll dismiss this one. And it's going back because we're actually, the other city is... just dismiss all of those messages. The other city that we have up through here has actually been top, is not really generating any money at all for us. So we're just going to keep on looking every so often to see. It's still too low, really, but it is slowly improving. This one is sort of travelling at around about the same level each time. We could use this for the attack. Yeah, it's only got the 3 in there. I've only got 3 avenues of attack in there. Move that one in just to get our recon very, very high for when we do the attack. I'm thinking we just attack now. Like that one didn't come forward, and I thought it was going to. Just keep this sort of monitoring the wastes. These are all being pushed right back. Oh, I keep on forgetting to get my replacement troops. So I've got 600 buggies. We need one of these. I'll get, say, 2 of them. Produce that one. We're in the red zone, but it's not. It's still okay. We can still be supplied with this. That zone there we can't because it's outside the areas. That one's fine. That's near the road. Just keep on pushing these back. Now we're seeing a zone there. What is this one? This asset is a waterfall turbine. This one's got energy of plus 100, so that would be great for us to get. This road is heading straight there, so we might make that a bit of an objective for us to try to actually take this particular location. So this is Zepolis. This is the Zepolis ruins, actually. So this is an old ancient zone that was still called the same thing. I love this aspect about the game, actually. If you have a look, there's another solar industries back over this other side. This is a gives industrial points of plus 40. So seeing what's around can be very, very beneficial. There's a science derelict in through there, which is going to give us just bonus research points. And again, not seeing any of that water. That water is not there. This one's only got the one. One is enough for us to try to find this water. And then we've got the high hermitage back over through here. Hermit's Cave, which is going to give us Hexperk is going to, okay, so what does it do? It gives us the Governor XP of 10 plus 10 points, which isn't really all that important. Well, we haven't found that water at all, which is we now have very big eyes on the planet. So it must, unless it's over here, it may be in this zone, which would actually be close enough for us to aim for it. But this is now getting to the point where it's now too far away to try to find that water. So we might go with the strat cards, covert ops. So see how they're replacing each turn. So we'll just go in with send in a spy team. We'll just do the targeting. What do we have here? This is a miner. This is we also then have the one we're at war with, Darkshire. This one will give us more of a clue. This one's also a miner, but I think that this one here would be the one that we possibly want to have a bit of a look at. I might send in the spy team. Failure. Okay, let's just send in an individual spy. We failed that one as well. She will eventually get better at it as like over time. You're still not seeing any. Like she is using it. Like the asterisk means that she is using this skill, but recent usage 26 usage points, which should give her experience. And at cap level 4 should then mean that she gets much better at this. But she's just really not. It's been a bit unlucky with the different roles, whatever it might be. Okay, so we'll just go back out. One decision left. So Mitch Lane wants a special exemption. So commander of the 3rd machine gun. My son is soon eligible to be drafted into the military. Should, however, he is physically weak and mentally not suited for the horrors of war. I'd like to give him an exemption, allow him to pursue a career in humanitarian work. So we can either allow it, which is going to promote democracy, which won't matter much, to be honest. That's it there. We're still miles ahead there. So we could actually do that one. Heart would then go up even higher, which is actually a good thing. No, there can be no exemptions, or approach the leader for even asking. Now, this will then make the Economic Council even happier. Fist goes up, but I think I'm just going to allow it.
Yes.
Alright, that's fine. Let's go back down to our forces here. These have now declared war on us, so Perseus. And I think it's time for us to see if we can take this city. They don't have much in there that we can see, and we've got reasonable recon. I'm going to soften them up first, and although the softening up is not going to really do much at all, to be honest. Yeah, we're not going to need to do that. I'll just go in with everything. Bring that one forward a little bit. And in we go. So it's saying even with that one, we've got 3.9 to 1. It's 34 to 1 with that. But I want to get infantry in here as well. So we're going with the red infantry. So we have different abilities that are sort of kicking back in. So we have a bit of a concentric bonus. They are dug in fairly well, but this is high odds. So we'll just see how we go with this. We'll do the attack. Now that one there is that the Galactic Republic? Might just leave that one out of the fight.
You're on the other side.
Mission completed.
Okay, so we got them all to retreat. We lost a few. Just need to make sure, that big tank there, no problem at all. That one sort of did the job. These tanks are all okay as well. They're the ones we have to be very, very careful of. We've lost our band, unfortunately. So the band was destroyed. Lost a few other infantry, but overall pretty good. So we went the tanks were part of the orange group, like Began's group, and then the others were a different group again. So a lot of these retreated, but the tanks ended up carrying the day. If we have a bit of a look, yeah, everything retreated except for the tanks. The tanks ultimately got there. 7 messages. What do we have? So 700 populations were lost in the combat. The attack did a whole lot of damage. Farming dome, transport hub, light industry, sewers, and police station suffered a bit of damage there, but nothing too bad. And so we've been able to take that one. That means that we'll end up having bell whores as well under our control. Now we have to start to think about logistics. Now's the point where we now probably need to start to think, okay, let's not go any further forward at this point in time, because we now need to establish what we've got. I'm going to move this one into bell whores, and I'm going to move these up and out, just in case there's anything that's further out that we need to be protecting ourselves from. So we'll just establish the borders, because these will all disappear next turn. So we don't really need to worry about them. Bring Began's group back. I'm just going to leave them on that road. So now we have another location that we now need to protect. This one looks like it's bigger. Yeah, it is. It's a bigger population than Gyrox. But even so, it's still not bad. So that's working out okay. Now we do need to, what we were going to do ultimately was to start to build a rail network to link these together, to a degree anyway, because we pretty much could go, it's a high dunes in through there, low dunes out this way. This is still our best way out, I think. Let's just press number 1. A bit of a look. They're high dunes in through there, so I could go low dunes, low dunes, low dunes all the way around to there. If I built a rail network out this way, I could go straight up to Belhors and then deviate off. Ideally what I'd like to do, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out this way, which I've got limited dunes to build the rail network, and then come up straight up to Gyrox, go through Gyrox, so put a train station in Gyrox, and then move up through this plain and around to Belhors. That would actually also work. That way we avoid everything else. So we'll start to think about doing this, because that's going to then really make sure that all of our logistics is then going to be, we're going to have just mountains and mountains of it. We sort of are going to do well anyway, but that's going to then allow us to consolidate what we've got just using the forces that we actually have. We don't have any extras, so we'll probably be needing to take one of them away, replace maybe the group that's protecting this one, because we don't, like, if the further up we go now, the more the logistics is going to become a problem, and we don't know exactly what's up the top here just yet. Actually, we sort of would. What is that one? It's another minor regime up the top there. Culture unknown. Just press number 1 again. Get our forces back on track here. This governor has done a fantastic job here, to protect this particular, for that one not to have rebelled, is very, very good. 34 is now becoming quite manageable. Happiness is still just sort of moving along very, very slowly, but that's sort of what you expect from one of these sort of more difficult groups. The religious fanatics will also be difficult. So we've got this group down here, which is just really holding on to this line. That's not even that far off. If we can get another group, maybe even a tank group, that would actually really allow us to move across. Water's going, yeah. So water and food are going backwards. Everything else is building. I think we're sort of in a position at right now of just leaving it where it is. So I'll leave that one as the garrison there for Belhorse. I can go there. Yeah, position as governor is vacant. We'll have a look at that one next turn when we need to. Let's move that one across. Yeah, we'll just get a bit of a feel of what's going to be coming out around this other side. Okay, let's end our turn here. I don't think there's anything else we had to build. Thanks there for the super chat, Shravan Prasad. So cheers for the stream. Going to make another attempt to get into this game, so really appreciate more recent live content on it. Yeah, look, it's a game that you can muddle your way through it. Like, so even though we're sort of doing like I'm doing fairly deep explanations on certain aspects of the game, you can still you can feel your way through a lot of it. There we go. They're now moving out. Suffered no losses. We got Belhorse. Okay, so they declared war and died straight away. Civilization has reached level 3, so only fate packs on tech level increases at regular difficulty or more. So we don't get to get that one. Fat Merchant, this is a good one for us. Cultural integrated in through there, radiation leak, and GR chain gun. So revolving barrels increases the fire rate potential. It can literally dig through armor. So that's 4. That's it's four fate points. We won't have that one. Only 1 spy card. That's unusual. Thought we'd get more than that. We've only got 2 fate points in there. The casino is a good one for generating. You can see our money is now sort of starting to go backwards fairly, like a fair amount. Let's have a look at what the decisions are that it wants us to look at. Oh, gee, Alex is really... I might have to get rid of Alec. He's becoming a real problem. He will definitely become an issue for us. Incident with the joke gone wrong. This is a deep crime. This is our capital. Discipline the leader. Heart goes up. Yeah, we want heart to go up. So we're going to discipline the leader. So it's going to. So a Red Rock relationship even decreases even further. I'm going to get rid of him because he's the secretary is not an important role in the game. It's just it's a central role, but not an important role. We can try to figure out what's wrong, but he's too far gone now. So we're going to move him off and into the reserves. I think we'll have a look at that in just a minute. We've got set the national budget. This is actually where we do set what everything ends up getting. The Secret Service Council probably doesn't need to have 20%, so I'll probably move that one backwards a little bit and put more back into the economic and military research. I'll leave that one where that is. Organisation decisions. So Young Turks have a clever idea. This is good for these here. So here we get commerce goes way up. Actually, then takes over from government. Keep salary the same. Offer the Young Turks a small budget. It still goes up. So what happens in through here is agree with reallocation. What do they want? So let's block the yearly bonus of all employees of the Economic Council. They want to use, a group of talented young bureaucrats has proposed that we block the yearly bonus to all the employees of the Economic Council. They want to use these credits to fund an experimental project that they'll work on in their own time after work hours. Yeah, so we'll do that. I don't think it's not going to impact him, which is unusual. I thought it actually would. Let's just do it.
Aye, aye, sir.
And we'll try to make him a bit happier. He's very important. Yeah, so they went up. The others didn't really get impacted. So commerce has now hit the lead here. So we now have there'll be more of a focus on that. Actually, I'll leave that on while we have a quick look at these ones and through here. So the zone decisions. Now we've got riots in Belhurst. This is actually where we start to then get other problems. So it's a little bit bigger. This will then make him happier to use autocracy to actually suppress this. Send in the troops to end these riots. Now, what I can do with these, I'll just go back. We have to appoint a governor as well. I want to do that one before we do anything else. Is this guy any good? Charisma is high, which means that he will learn. He's a cap 3 as well. He's got a lot of points in here as well, like with administration. He's actually not bad. Actually, he's a good candidate for running this particular location, and he's actually fairly loyal. So we'll appoint him to it, even without looking at anyone else.
Copy that.
Relation improved, and this is actually where we have to be a little bit careful. In this one here, with the happiness of that location is going to be fairly low, and we're going to need to sort of manage that one a little bit more effectively. So we can upgrade the small town of Belhurst into a big town. Ultimately, it means if it's a happy town, it's actually a good thing. But if we ask me later, I think I'll actually leave that so that we don't do that just yet, because it's harder to make them happy when they're a big town. So we'll just do an ask me later. Don't click on OK. Now we have the riots, so we're going to suppress them. Now, before we do it, I just picked up some more guys. I'm going to move in double the group to suppress it. So they're going to come in and suppress that one. We end up with this border up to here now. What was that one? That was water 50. Again, it's so we've got blue water top there, so we end up with a 50 extra water, 50 bonus water there. They did also find more water in this zone here somewhere. I don't know where that actually was. Maybe it's under one of these guys. Oh yeah, there's water there. I think we found that one before. Oh, it's water there. Okay, so we've got this one as well. So we've actually now found ourselves a couple more water. This is actually another big water source. So we're actually doing okay with water. We'll be fine. All right, so what about the other locations? We just go back to the strategic maps. Yeah, that's right. We didn't get a chance to put them into the other groups. So with our decision making, riots in Belhurst. So we're going to send in the troops.
Copy that.
So 4,000 soldiers and 780 security personnel were confronting 1,800 rioters. Our troops succeeded in confronting the rioters, plus 20 fear. So the fear is actually going to suppress the rebellious nature. 300 rioters were killed, and none of our forces were. So in this case, they went up. The autocracy went up as well. So we're just going to click on OK. So we're now up to 65 there. We'll come back to this one in just a minute, because we do need to deal with him and the national budget as well. I think I'll look at both of those separately. With the group that we have, so we've actually been able to push the logistics is actually working all the way through here, but this will then change next turn for Belhurst. I might just skip both of these back in Belhurst as well. So we do have a police station. We have sewers as well, which will help with the... this is actually not a bad little town. While it's still quite unhappy, I'm thinking of getting rid of the transport hub, so I can actually sort of go and... I don't want to pay to nationalise it. I've only got 550, so I can disband. Now, it's at level 1 now, and so I'm going to disband one level of it, which will then destroy it. And so that will make them a little bit unhappy. So we'll lose a bit of population happiness. If we have a look at Belhurst, it's at 31 at the moment. And the population here are fanatics, religious fanatics. They're barbaric, but they're actually rising slightly. Yeah, I've got high hopes for this town. We've got still got the 55 unrest, and we have the fear level is now increased because of our suppression using autocracy. So I think this is a sort of thing will then sort of kick in. There'll be more interplay with this. Now we've also got units that are quite unhappy, which will have, or like leaders which are unhappy, which we'll need to try to address. I'm thinking of bringing in. I need to get my taxation higher than what it actually is, just to be able to pay for everything, because this is now going to be a bit of a drain as well. And so what that's going to ultimately mean is we're going to need to get the Interior Council in probably before the Model Council. I would like to bring the Model Council in, but I think the Interior Council would probably be the next one that we do bring in now, just to try to get the everyone a bit happier as well. So just so we can sort of work with HR, the HR department. Right, so Recycle Doom is saying, what's this game most similar to? Oh, well, my mind just goes straight to the games that were built before this one, but I don't think that's what you're really asking. So you're really asking for a, yeah, God, what would it be? I mean, it's like any other war game, except that you're playing on just such diverse and random planets every time you play it. It's a very different experience when you do play it. I mean, you still follow the same progress, I guess, but it's but really the planets really make every single playthrough just so wildly different. It really is amazing. But I can't even think of what would be a game that would be similar. Yeah, it's a hard one, actually. That's a really hard question. Let's just go back to here. We'll start to... now, we don't have a hell of a lot of metal at this point in time. We do have a little bit of... the industrial points we have are okay. We might just go back into here as well. Go back to the assets. The ammo factory is producing a lot of ammunition. What can we store? Oh, 89,000. Yeah, I'll let it work at 100% efficiency. We're going backwards slightly now, and we are still building. The construction is now finished on the bureaucratic office. Next term, we're going to start suffering a little bit more there. This one's also finished, so that should hopefully bring up the shortfall there, and allow us to get that mitigated. But we're then going to need to make sure that we end up with at Bellhorse as well. We've got the dome farm. Transport hub, I think I'll actually put my own transport hub in here. I don't like having the private sector running it for me. Okay, so we end up with a little bit back, and we'll actually go and build just a transport hub initially, just a road network. So we go into construction, logistics, and truck station in there. And ultimately what we want to do is we want to start to build rail stations and rail heads.
Copy that.
But we'll start with truck stations. We may start just by building a rail head back up into here, a rail station down in here. So if we start to look at this, the like to put this into perspective, to build the rail network up to there, if I just press R and go to the rail cost from that location up, is going to ultimately cost me 612 metal just to build the rail line and 306 industrial points. So I have the industrial points, but I don't have anywhere near the metal. So we're going to need to get another metal mine, I think, to actually be able to build our rail infrastructure. So that's going to be a bit too much. And also then if we just go back out and go back into construction and look at the logistics for the actual... We need at least one rail station. And so this is 2 rounds. That's 500, ultimately 500 metal, 500 industrial points. So when we build the rail station, we'll be wanting to sort of have this one come in as well. So we're already up to well over like over 1,000 in terms of the metal cost. And then back at the other location, we want to build a railhead for another 125. So let's just say we've got about 1,200, 1,300 in terms of metal before we can really start to build this infrastructure. So we do actually have a metal mine there. We do have another metal mine we can build down this way. I'm just going to, like, if I go and say, yeah, build me a metal mine right there, it could build the road from there or there. I think it will build it this way, but I do want to make sure the road is built this other side. I still pay for it no matter what I do, so let's just go and build that one to there, and we'll start to build this metal mine in here as well. So rather than building that one just yet, we'll just go back into mining and just go to metal mining facility, and we'll go that way, start construction. Now that's at least that will then sort of start to give us like it'll double our metal. We also have more metal over here that we can also go and get established. We do actually have a fair bit of rare metals, which I could go and trade. So I might just go and do that one, just see what we can do. We go back to sell. So there's 39 of them can be sold for 13 credits, which is actually fairly good. So we'll go and do that one. That's going to give us, we sell 39 off of the, we've got heaps of them. So we've got heaps and heaps. We can also sell the machines, but I need the machines for building. So it's better for me not to do that one. Other things that may be of interest to us. So your metal's actually worth a lot, like a hell of a lot. Fuel a little bit. Water is actually, which we thought would be a, like that's actually good for water and food as well. Like people are struggling with their water and food, of course, on this desert world. But in this case, we'll just sell those off.
Yes, sir.
It's just going to give us another big bank balance, and we won't bother buying anything. There's nothing much in there that we really would need. There's the radioactives, by the way, if you are wanting to build nuclear stuff, but we're not in a position to do that just yet. We do have another unit down in here as well. If I just go back to the that unit, if I just go back into this one through this other side. So I might move this one up along the roads. Move that one just so we're up sort of towards the top. So now it's probably really is a time for us to start to consolidate. So I'm going to use red to move up and take the borders. Just sort of push back on these locations a little bit. Just keep them operating out this way. There's that one there, which is it's water for us, but we don't really need it. Food is interesting. Like we've actually got, we can still actually build up our food supplies a lot from here. So we've only got 50% production there, but I might ramp that up to 75% now. Just see if I can equalize this one out. I don't want to. What can we store? 8,000. Maybe I'll go back up to 100, and I'll move the water supply also back up as well. So we've got the water supply is coming from here. I'll move that to 100 as well. So we'll just get our food and water, and just so we can get our storage up fairly high. Everything else is looking pretty good except for energy. So that one does go down a little bit. Everything else is good there. I really need to get myself another infantry group, I think, because our borders are now becoming a little bit too big. If they turn against us, we're going to be in trouble there. Iron State, they're happy enough, so they shouldn't attack us at all. We have war in through here with these raiders, but we've got this fully blocked off. They've got nowhere that they can go. These will now secure this other border. Let's have a quick look at our replacement troops. Let's get a few more grunts. So they can be shipped out. Buggies didn't actually get shipped out to the last one. Machine gun, we've still got two there as well. That's okay. So just got basic units at the moment. What do you get? Trucker saying, Babel Builder had a good stream on it a few months ago. Now that you're up on YouTube as that's now up on YouTube as a video. Yeah, I don't know who that is. So we've got there's a chain gun card, a secret tech or something. Actually, I'm not sure. We have a look and see. Strat card that was under units, was it? No. Nation. Yeah, chain gun through here. So we'll give you the specified GR tech all ready for to be deployed. Yes, so it is a tech. So this one here is give you the specified GR tech. That's interesting. GR chain gun. Let's have a look and see where that actually is, if we can see it. Not sure where that would be. It should be under these sorts of areas in through here, I would guess. I'm just looking for chain gun. Becomes beam guns and so on and so forth. I'm not sure where it actually is. You can only see if you have at least one GR tech. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, no, I can't see it there. So yeah, maybe it's a different area. I've never actually gotten one of those before, to be honest. So just see if there's any others. This will give us, again, this is prestige damage. Lack of eloquence during an important meeting causes shame and prestige damage. Now, we don't know exactly what that would then be, but that does give me 4 fate points. Yeah, we don't want to do that. Radiation leak. So this one here is random zone. We'll get like an increase in danger. But we get 3 fate points. That's actually not bad. So this ancient machine is highly unstable. So we end up with a radiation leak there. So danger will come backwards. I don't know if I need it just yet. I don't really want that one. Leaders. Yeah, won't worry about that one. Zones. Fat merchant. I do want to play this. This will then give me... so I'll play this on my capital. So now this one is another problem, really big problem. She's been pretty good. So we get private investment sort of coming into the town. We should actually double check to see what sort of investments they're making at Deepcron. Oops, just go and left click there. So Deepcron. Where is it? It's the other people. Your farming down communities, when they can afford it, that's what they're going to be investing in next time, which is fine. That's actually good. That will give them food. What else do we need to do here? I've got 2 decisions to do as well. I feel like, that's right, we're going to try to sort out the happiness. So leaders, okay, so we can actually go through and natural relation point. We can just have a look and see what they're working on. So a few of them are bad. The governor of Belhorse has actually got a natural relation point, which is very, very low, lowest of all. And we'll see how he goes over time. We may have to. His relation is high. So we've got 2 that are really a problem. Yeah, so it's really, I mean, it's these 2 here. So they're only cap 2s anyway. So Alec, if you have a look at Alec, let's have medical, but nothing much else. So I'm going to go and get rid of him, I think. Let's go and bring in another leader. Let's go to the strat cards. And we'll just recruit a junior or 2.
Affirmative.
And we'll have a look and see what they're like. So Dexter has got a good relationship when he's first come in. He's a cap 3. A bit too much to put in as a secretary. He doesn't have great skills anywhere else though. He's again getting some good roles here with the people. I think I'll bring in yet another one.
Affirmative.
We'll have another look again. There's the other one that's just come in. He's only a cap 2. He's got really good covert ops skills though, but yeah, I don't think I'll use him in that capacity. Like he is good there. It would be nice, actually. I wonder what the other. Yeah, I'm tempted to just put him in as a secretary, to be honest, at this stage. The other advisor that we have, what does he do? Can't really help with much, to be honest. I haven't used him at all. I might give him a call and attach him to the Secret Service.
Copy that.
He'll help a little bit. So we'll just get him sort of working with her. So so we'll just associate him with that one there. Then we'll go back to the secretary. Call the secretary, and we're going to relieve him of duties.
Affirmative.
He's not associated with another faction, so he's actually okay. I'm sorry, you're not going to have any job whatsoever.
Affirmative.
Now, that did cost us a bit to do that. So we're down to 28 political points now. So he's now just a reserve pool member. We can't get rid of him as such. There are stratagems we can play, but what I want to look at the stratagems we can play on Teresa. So now what do we know about her? If I just go back out. She's only capped 2. But she has her skill levels have been improving fairly well. Corruption is low. Ambition is high. There's nothing we can really do for her. She's down to 29 now, so she's dropping. We'll exit out of that one and just go in and just see if there's anything else we can actually do for her. So we've got Shadow Diplomat, so we'll assign a temporary Shadow Diplomat to the target leader. We don't need that one. Medal of Merit. We'll give the leader a plus 10 charisma, plus 1 relations. We'll improve the relation leader by 25, but that's not bad. Shadow Spy. Okay, so this one here will assign a temporary Shadow Spy to the target leader. Just for the next role. Propaganda assistant. So we'll give this won't help with what they do. Hero of the Nation increases selected leaders' charisma stats with plus 10. Also tends to increase leaders' ambition over time. So it does improve relation with you up to plus 15%. So that's not a bad one, but I think we'll just go back and play the Medal of Merit. Now we're going to be down to 8 after this. So that's being applied by the Supreme Command Council. The target is Teresa.
Affirmative.
Okay, that helps a little bit. We're down to 8, so this is actually a bit of a problem. 2 decisions left to go. We've still got the national budget. I'm thinking whether I do need to bring the Interior Council in now. I think I will, because we've actually got people that can actually run that one. He's down to 9, so he's in a very, very bad light. Let's go. Actually, I don't even have I no longer have a secretary, so I'm going to have to do it next turn. So I'm just going to go and discipline the leader. This is going to give us, we want to get the heart up.
Affirmative.
He's down to what? He's down to a tiny amount now. So national budget allocation. Oh, he's the new secretary. So Dexter is taken over as secretary. So he's automatically filled that role. Which I don't really want him in there, but we're going to go into, we want a new organisation, which is going to cost me 2.
Roger that.
And so we'll get it. So with the new organisation that we want is it's going to cost me more. No, I can't do it. Can't do it. I thought it was only going to cost me, so I don't have the political points to go and do this one. So I wanted to go and get the Interior Council, but I also want to get the Model Design Council as well at some point.
Roger that.
So I'll just go none there. Just wasted another couple. The budget allocations back and through here. The Secret Service can come down a little bit. I'm going to keep the Supreme Command Council, even though that's where I get my political points from. I'm going to keep that one down and just move this one down by 5. And lock that one in, and then have the military go up a little bit more than the others. Yeah, maybe just like that.
Roger that.
Just changes the relationships a little bit. All right, okay, let's end our turn there. Oops, keep on pressing the WASD keys. So they've all been set up where they need to be. Got the different groups that have now come back out of here. They're all okay. This one's okay. We've also got things happening. Yeah, I don't think I want to be building anything else just yet. So we'll get a big injection in bureaucratic points this turn because that of that building that was just built in the last turn. So it takes there's a 1 turn delay. So they're sort of moving up against that border now, which is fine. They're not going to be able to push through that border. Yep. So we thought that there's an attack there that went through, killed 300. That's good. We have 6 decisions, 81 reports waiting for you. Okay, your BP production has now gone up to 429, so that's good. My scouts, so we've got 60. We didn't need those. Admin level, so it's reading to level 6. We don't get fate points for those. We can now assassinate different leaders if we needed to. Like if there's somebody that's a problem, we can actually get rid of them. Dismiss that one, and we'll still just keep on trying to. We've only got 20 points in here, so I need to build this one back up again. This is still building down that way. They're okay. Got 6 decisions. The zone decisions are usually the bad ones. Riots. So again, we need to send in the troops. It keeps on falling back to this position here. So we'll just again with the autocracy will now rise again if we do that one. I'm thinking we just go for it. She's now on side to push this, send in the troops. Okay, so our troops succeeded again. So we've got like 2 groups in here. Sorry, this is the now the orders for the was that Bell Horse? I forget where that one actually was. So this one in this case we're going to work the salaries up to 5. Don't need to do anything else there. That's all okay. So we're just going to go and confirm these orders.
Copy that.
Okay, and 82 wants change. So Sev wants change in propaganda. This one, democracy, goes up. Not that it matters much. It's not going to really impact much else. Democracy goes down. Approach leader for even asking. That will then. No, he's too light. He's too close to this one, so I'm going to allow that one.
Roger that.
So just do the ones that we don't really need to worry about. Now, the Economic Council, I'm going to ignore whatever happens into here. I don't mind if the unrest goes up. This is in Deep Cron, which we don't really have a problem with. So I will actually just ignore that. The heart profile went down slightly. So if saying setting a public budget to at least 1 gives happiness to people for cheap. Oh yeah, actually that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea as well, actually. Too late now. Okay, Military Research Council task priority. So this is again, it's asking if we want to prioritise. I've got 1% going into discovery and 99% going into research. No changes is what I want there. I just want them to keep on doing what they're doing. They're going to start to now perform a lot better because of the bureaucratic points that we're now generating. Threat of war. So the Imperator of Lamonis Imperium has contacted with that his force are ready and willing to invade us. He notes, however, that we can pay all our money to do it. So no one wants to bribe him. So no, we will not. So we'll look into this one. I don't know where they are. Lamonis Imperium. Let's have a look and see where they actually are. Lamonis Imperium is this one up the top. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We're actually in a good position to hold them off. And you can see even on this little map, there's mountains in the way. And this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at how easy can we hold that off, and we can hold that off very, very simply because we've got this protection. We need to be pushed out a little bit further away from where we actually are. But this is not an issue at all, not even slightly. So we're going to. We don't know how big their territory goes. I probably don't want to take their territory, but we've got very, very good protection against them. What's that one? That's the non-aligned forces up that way. We are going to have to get another group pretty much as soon as we can, I think. Looking at the supply as well, it's healthy supply all the way along. Very good supply the whole way up. So this is all working very, very well. So we'll just go back across, and how are we going with our money? Oh, sorry, with our metals. Still waiting on stuff to come in. So we'll just keep on sort of having things thump along for a little bit longer. Yeah, go back to that decision and we'll go, no, we will not bribe them. Fist will go up. So if the fist profile is this one here, which will go up by +5,
Affirmative.
but it won't be enough to knock it around, so that's okay. And we actually have, like, we've got all sorts of troops here just ready to you know, walk on up. Oh, there's more there that we didn't see. So what are these guys? Scavengers with energy lances and wasp hives. These are going to be difficult. Well, not super difficult, but they're going to be a little bit more tricky than we anticipate. Now we're going to have to get another troop group back out in somewhere just to protect this zone through here, I think. So we've got good numbers back right the way back up to Bellhors essentially. So I might just go to Bellhors and actually build myself another. We've got 3,800 in here. If we go and raise a formation. Again, we want independent battalions is what we actually want. Sorry, with no OHQ brigades. And we just want, I can't quite get everything that's required through here. It needs 5,500 infantry. So I don't have enough recruits. So we might start to try to go back and get more recruits. And maybe even look to see if we can actually now bring in the Gorok city, or Gorok zone into the fold so they can start to pay a bit of money and also... yeah, look at the forward there a little bit. I think I'll just go with an infantry brigade, even though I've only got 69%. If I go and click on that one through there, it's that one there. The troops are the problem, which means the items are the problem. Logistics is fine, so that's all we're going to be able to raise there. So we'll only get them initially, and I can use the SHQ troops as well just to get a few more. So, which I won't do. Yeah, I'll just leave it like that. Did that add anything to it? No, not really. Okay, we'll raise the formation. It's only, I just want this to sort of you know, plug the gap. So even if there's not going to be all the right number of people, it's still going to be okay. So we now have a different group. The colour looks a little bit too much the same as the others. 4th Infantry. So we'll just go in and go to Unit Admin, change the colour. We got blue? Can't remember if we got blue. We'll just update that anyway. Is that blue over there? More of a green. That's okay. Alright, so we're going to use these to operate down against these sorts of units. I'll bring them up. Orange is actually okay where that is. Yeah, so these are going to come. What's that one got? This one's also got energy lances and wasp hives as well. So these are some sort of scavenger group. They're culture unknown, but they're going to be sort of like a fairly advanced Mad Max sort of style force. Just put them onto the mountains. Keep this one from coming in. I'm going to have to move these back. We're not going to be able to finish off this group. I'll just keep that one back there. Okay, well, eventually they'll be able to start to sort of push out as well with what we're doing. Okay, so our recruits are nothing. Let's just go back into Deep Cron and call the governor. So the zone orders here. Just going to go and change that one. And we'll try to get 700 troops per turn. Yeah, they're quite happy with where they are. Maybe even 800. Confirm the orders. All right, back into here. Getting close to 50%. This one here is going to be miles off. I'm tempted to bring this into the fold. Maybe wait a turn or so. Maybe we just let it go over the 50% and then we bring it in. Yeah, it might be the best way to do that one. All right, so we'll leave that one where that is. That one can't really do much else. Should have left that one back where it was. We do actually have a couple of these which I can move off just to sort of block these off. So these are free folk marauders. These are just rifle militia, fairly strong for what they can then go and do. So probably don't really want to be doing too much with them just yet either, until we can sort of really surround them and destroy them. So I need to get another armoured car group. How are we going with our fuel is, our water is coming down, our food is still coming down. We're going to need to get another food supply. This one here is an agrodome 2. Agrodome 3. Give me 900 food. Yeah, 150 metals. It's costing me a little bit to do that one, but it's probably still actually worth it. This one should have. I've still got one turn left there to build those metal mines. Industry is coming down. I can't really do it just yet. I've still got a bit there, but I'll have to get on top of that. Maybe even build another farm in here somewhere. Might be helpful. I mean, if we have a look at the. I can't build it there because there's already a dome farm there. But if I built it here, for example, so we've got the agricultural dome facility there, which I can do in two rounds. It's going to give us 200 food. Yeah, I mean, that way at least I spread it out a little bit. Just to get these in there. This is a Xeno agricultural facility, which is not really suitable, I don't think. It's only one round to build it though. It says it gives me 200 food, but that's based on food production per. This is actually a Xeno farm, which is using the crops that are coming from the location anyway. So if you have a look and see at the reports, is that viable? Agricultural crop details. So so Terran crops just aren't going to be able to be suitable on this particular planet. So it's suitable for 22 degrees, the ideal temperature from 10 and 35 Celsius. But this is way too hot up there for that, I think. So special property, fuzzy wax and cavernous structures. So note that the alien crops are usually in a more reduced temperature band than non-edible alien vegetation. So reverse can be the case as well. So we have we can build between 1 and 70, but really the ideal is between 10 and 35. Which sort of means that we have to, if we're going to build it, it probably is. I'm not sure what the special properties are, the fuzzy wax and the cavernous structures. But if we have a look at that, like if we were building in here, for example, this is temperature's 26 there at the moment, which isn't too bad. What about down in here, down to -4? So we're now in late summer, like late winter, down in the southern hemisphere, and so in this case, this is as cold as it's going to get. So we'd be looking for somewhere where it's about 10. So it's 11 there. So in this region here would be about. Even like on that location there, that oil well, we could actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's within range of there. So that would actually work along that band. But then once we start to get up into these sorts of regions, we're now looking at 50 degrees Celsius in the winter. So so really we're looking at more of a temperate band in through this particular sort of zone along here. If we were going to build one of those. Which would actually still work, that would still be possible. If we have a quick look at the construction zone for that one, So this is an agricultural facility. It would be interesting to build one of these. So this is it's only one turn, so it's only half the build cost to go and get this one done. Look at the water it takes though. Okay, no, it costs 1,000 waters to run it. No, we don't want that. We definitely don't want that. So that's not going to work. Yeah, so that's completely out of the picture. So in this case, we just go back to another dome farm and probably just on the road here somewhere. Maybe in there because it's nicely protected in around this zone. But I won't do it yet because I don't have enough industry points. We need to get industry points. There's a lot we have to see and get sorted out with this one. But I have actually run out of time for this session, actually, guys. So I'm going to have to sort of leave it here. We're slowly sort of building up, but I've just got to think whether we bring this one in now because I don't know if I'll remember. What I might do is I might just end my turn. So one more turn. That's all been done. That's all been set. That way we can at least then go and set up for the next for next week when we sort of come back in and continue it on. They're now building. What are they building in there? That's another dome farm being built down in that location by this private enterprise, which is fine. Here we are going to have to plug those gaps. Taking us through there. So we've actually been attacked now across the top. More fuel at Belhurs. That's okay. Spy rings. We should send out more of those. Now we're up to 29. It's still not a lot. What we have, we've only got 3 decisions. Any zone decisions? Yes. Major worker strike in Gyrox. Military force to enforce it. So this is where we just suppress these. This is where we just use autocracy all the time. So autocracy will then go up from 67 to 71. So we're going to go to the next level now of autocracy. So we'll just keep them suppressed. Which lane wants to erect a statue? The government and heart. I don't really care about those. So yeah, that's fine. I'm actually happy enough with that. So we'll just go yes, allow it. Yeah.
Yes.
That's going to be okay. And unit decisions. So new commander for the 4th Light Infantry Brigade. We do need to select one of these. Now, we're definitely not going to use Alec. He's down to 0. But we do have Mitchell, who does actually have some abilities here. So we'll put him in charge of that group. So I'll appoint him. Done. All right, so that's all our decisions done for this turn. So I'll leave it so that when we come in next turn, we're really just going to be moving units around. That's now moved back a little bit. I won't move those. I'll just leave them where they are. Keep them in position. They're okay. We're just far enough away from the city here to not have to worry about this one, but we will actually start to move up and out. These guys are now moving all the way across. So we need to sort of plug the gap in here. So we might even move these up and just position our forces just to sort of stop them from encroaching through this particular zone. And then we've got this one as well, which we can then sort of, so that it'll leave a gap between here, but we will start to sort of move these up as well. I'll leave them, I think I'll just leave all that where that is, and then we'll come back next week to, what have we got in there that's red? Oh, that's the tank. Yeah, I've got that tank force. If I've got enough infantry, I could certainly sort of do the job here. Or I could actually use this now to actually go and start to push hard against these guys. That would actually be pretty good, I think. So I'll leave that all where it is. The next week we'll sort of come back and start to take these different locations. They've actually moved back a little bit, which is fine. So we can sort of take this mountain. We do want to grab these mountainous regions. Yeah, I don't have anything that can actually. It's funny, I can't get across to there with these. I can go up into that one. leaving a big gap there, but we do have forces. Actually, I'll stop moving. So when will you be uploading the other game video for Strategos? It's going to take me a day or two. I'll record it today, but it'll take me a day or two to process it and then put it up. I was thinking of doing it as a live stream just so it was actually up and running, but I think I would prefer to actually do a think about it a bit before I sort of just get into it. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. So thank you for watching, and yeah, we've done our decision. So next term when we start off, we'll start off sort of basically back into in this particular area, back into this other side. Actually, when I do chat tactic through the week as well, I might even play it a little bit there as well, just so, with Strategos, to sort of go through that one. I'm really quite impressed with it. It looks very, very good. This one here, we've got forces that we just have to keep. We're going to have to keep on sort of. I probably even need to get another group somehow. I really can't. I've only got 800. What I might just quickly do, because I know I'm going to forget to do this, is get more grunts. Just fill them up. So just use all of them just to try to fill up the group that we do actually have there. So we've sort of now extended ourselves out a little bit too far. So we now need to sort of consolidate and until we sort of get other groups to then sort of look after the front lines. Anyway, I'll leave that for next week. So thanks for watching, and I'll hope you guys all have a good weekend. And I'll catch you during the week if you're around.